I think we need to get some new music. That vibe is boring. But like this one, right? So like I had this one on. This reminded me of like America's Funniest Home Videos.
It reminds me of like Happy Days.
Happy Days?
Yeah, like when the Fonz punches the jukebox. Or walks into a room. Or jumps over a shark.
Okay. I see. I can get behind that. Oh, so we took a few weeks off, but we're back, and there's a lot. And I mean, like, if you were here right now and you're already in chat and you're already like ready and like excited because we started early because we have so much to talk about tonight, and we have so many friends coming on the podcast tonight. So,
Friend
like,
is a strong word for some of them, but okay.
Wow.
Maybe
Maybe
your
really
friend.
Nice acquaintances.
Coworker.
Coworker.
I would
Wow.
name. I would say
Coworker.
about one. Yeah.
Coworker. Oh,
They know.
Man.
They know who they are.
All right. So our question of the day for anyone hanging out already. Hey Dick.
Hey Dan.
What is the most you have spent on a single card? And this does not have to be Lorcana. We can go beyond Lorcana for this.
Well, okay, but then it's a Black Lotus, and it was like $3,000. And
You actually, all right, hold on.
But
let me clarify. All right, you were a store owner,
right?
Are you telling me you bought a Black Lotus for yourself or for the store?
No,
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I didn't have Magic cards after the age of 12 in my own personal collection.
Okay,
I was always sponsored after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so for myself, it would definitely be Disney Lorcana, and it was Bells for $55. And I got absolutely raked over the coals for them by Cool Stuff.
The Chapter 1 Legendary?
Yeah, because I was going to PPG Miami.
Yeah.
I was driving there. I didn't know anyone. I couldn't get Bells. Like, I had no way to get them delivered to my house.
Okay.
The only store that had Bells and Hades were Cool Stuff Inc. Bells were $55 and Hades were $50. Yeah, don't forget. I've talked about it on here before. I absolutely bombed. I went like 4-3 at that tournament. So wasn't worth it. And then the third was a Rapunzel for the same tournament, but that was only $40.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been very fortunate, which I think we're going to get into, where I've been able to find really good deals for everything else on TCG Player.
Okay.
So, how about you? Never bought a card in your life? Nailed it.
I mean, I buy lots of product.
Yeah.
I think for Lorcana, the answer is probably just the Enchanted Clarabelle that I bought recently off eBay for like $90.
But what about Clarabelle?
Exactly. I think in other games, I would call myself very fortunate because I got in right before what our first topic is tonight. Basically, right before like a quote buyout. But I remember when in World of Warcraft the Edwin Von Cleef came out, and when I bought them, they were only $75.
Yeah.
Which was very expensive at the time for that game, if I'm being honest. Like at the time, $75 was already kind of crazy. But literally within 3 weeks of me purchasing my last like couple Edwins that I needed for my playset, they went to $200. So like if you didn't buy in early, all of a sudden your deck like just quadrupled in price because like basically his entire like life of the rotation in which he was legal, he was the most expensive card. And we're just talking about like normal print run, not an EA, not like none of that, just like straight up normal print run was like $200 on the spot. So for a play set in that game, it was 4. It would have been like literally $800 for 4 of your 60 cards in your deck, which was kind of insane. And I will say, like full circle, easily the best purchase of my entire life, because that year in World of Warcraft was arguably my most successful, consistent year as a card game player. Like, better achievements in other games, but that year, like, with that card in my deck, lots of success. Lots of success. What we got? $130 was a gift. That doesn't count. James is coming up. No. Not James. We have other friends, though. We already have one in the green room, guys. He's hanging out. We're gonna bring him on in a second here. $50 for Rapunzel. I mean, yeah.
Well worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of those where when you buy Rapunzel early, if you had already bought it, you feel great about it, because it's just like it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
1.4K on the first God Rare and Dragon Ball Super. Whew, man, that's expensive. I'm trying to think later on. I definitely later on, now that I'm thinking about like Magic and stuff like that, I definitely bought like dual lands for several $100s. I don't really. It's so funny how like I don't ever really count like lands in Magic as like a thing, even though you should.
But I think more people need to know about lands in Magic. The people that are complaining about $60 Tamatoas. How about $75 fetch lands? So you need 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And they do nothing. Well,
they do everything in that game. But so like for context, for those that maybe don't know the difference, we are very blessed in Disney Lorcana. And every card in our hand that has a little ink symbol on it, we can put in our resource row. All right. Well, like in Magic, there's literally just a card that is called a land that is the only thing that you are allowed to use for resources. So in that game, on average, you have between 18 and 22 of them, maybe some more, maybe higher, maybe less, right? Of those in your deck. But you know how like we get to ink and we can play like a sapphire card or a steel card with that? Like, no. Like, this land only produces a specific color. So in that game, the most expensive things were dual lands, and unlike dual inks. So the dual lands said, oh, I can produce one of two colors. Sometimes there were, other lands that produce more colors and things like that. But those lands that were created in alpha and beta, I think the cheapest one now is probably like a couple $100. But the most expensive ones were like for a period of time in the game, like literally north of $1,000, like for a land. So like to start your mana base in a blue-black deck was like $4,000 in just 4 lands. So yeah, $60 for a sweet crab that wins you lots of game, no problem.
Yeah, at least our expensive cards do actually physically win the game. Like, you feel good that you spent the money because you won with it. But like I played Affinity, which had one mountain, so I had like a Guru mountain. It was like $300 or whatever. Sure. But like, it's just a mountain. It just does nothing. It sits there.
Ooh, that's a good one. 300 on a serialized Sacred Foundry. Okay. All right, let's bring our guest on because he's in here early, so we may as well bring him on. Hello, Mr. Stefan. How are you doing this evening? You're a returning guest, so we don't even have to introduce you anymore, right?
Hi, friends.
He's more famous than us.
So, what about you? What's the most you've ever spent on a single card?
Oh God, is my wife watching?
This can be way before your wife. It's fine.
like cash value. Okay,
yeah, sure.
Like cash value. Let's see. It was probably the 2 Rapunzels I needed in set 1.
Okay.
Because I was pretty set on Steel Song.
Yeah.
And thankfully I pulled 2 Rapunzels. So the rest. I mean, like, the thing is like I'm the worst kind of player because I'm like the player collector, right? So every set I need a play set of everything because I don't want to have to go buy it in the future. I just want to pull it from the 4K that it's in or whatever in 6 months when it like spikes because it there's something I figured out.
You didn't need Oswald's.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah. So you know, when that popped off, I was like, oh well, if I'm ever interested, I have them. But yeah. Yeah. So like in the beginning, in set one, it was a scramble because I did like my heart was set on Steel Song, but I was like, but I don't know, like these red cards are great and so are these steel cards, and like you just I ended up like removing the trading part out of trading card game.
Yeah.
So I never traded, and now I just thankfully you know, buy enough to where I can just give anything, because again, you just like, what do you trade for, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, trading is to me a completely lost art in the game. Like,
yeah,
I don't think I've traded since I was like a kid, you know. So I all right, I take that back. Technically, a lifetime ago, what it feels like, I technically worked for Scott as his trading person that would go to like the Darkmoon fairs for World of Warcraft, and I would trade all the crappy cards for all the loots. So like it was just like literally trading bulk for like cards of actual value. And that like, yeah, that was trading, but like, I mean, was it? Like,
right,
was
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I mean, like there was a point where I was just dumping a ton of the bulk over at you. Dick, you had mentioned you went to Cool Stuff, so like they take bulk by like $1,000 to $15.
Yeah,
which is not too
which
bad.
is great compared to North Carolina.
So, you know, there were some times where like if I wanted to close the gap on some high priced legendaries, because usually like they're really high price out the gate because they don't know how to, you know, figure it out.
Yeah.
So like I remember trading in like, I think I traded in 8. Well, I don't know what the math is, but like 2 4K containers full of singles to just get like I missed like a Mufasa in that set, and
Yeah,
what
you really missed that on the Mufasa.
Yeah. But yeah, I was excited. I mean, I saw the card and I was like, oh my god, like I want to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
But
here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are at set 7. I still need to figure this thing out.
So but yeah, no, it like that was the one that I think I dumped a ton of bulk on, just because like it was that one, and then the Naveen as well, because I really wanted to play with Naveen, and unfortunately I only like out of 2 cases I only opened like 2 of them.
Ouch.
So I had to close the gap on those.
Okay. We gotta see. Look, here's some proof. Orion is our proof. $700-800 underground seas.
Oh wow,
that's real, guys. It happened. Like, it is a real thing.
Oh! So you guys were talking about Magic. Okay, yeah.
We said like anything, you know, like anything.
No, so I had like tried to start playing Magic during War of the Spark.
Okay.
And oh man, I was playing. What set was it where it was the cards that you played and you had to immediately sacrifice them, and then they had like an effect that like essentially
evoke.
Yeah. So like it was Uro? I bought a play set of Uros.
Yeah.
This is past my time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely past both our times. But I do know what broken cards sometimes are, and I was like, I don't know what that card does, but I know its name, which means it's probably broken.
Yeah, so like that one I remember buying, because I wasn't buying a lot of Magic at the time, just like a couple of packs when I signed up for locals. But once I saw what that card was capable of, I bought a play set, and that was painful.
That was painful.
Yeah, because I really wasn't like with Lorcana. I'm like, I know, like, because you know, like I feel like I'm pretty all in, right? Like,
yeah.
I'll play, but like Magic at that time, I was like, okay, there's this, and then next week is Commander, and then after that is something like there's so much product coming out that you couldn't keep up with. But like Lorcana is, you really just do one huge,
which is so funny, right? Because like people are like, oh my god, I can't believe like we're gonna like a new set's already coming out, like we like it's like, guys, like this is like breathable, you know? Like, we get to breathe.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because, like, you know, I mean, that could probably be a conversation for another day, but
yeah,
I've always tried to figure out like what would make Lorcana like what chase could you include that would make opening packs after the big release worth it? Because I don't have any desire to open packs.
the actual chase is finding more boxes that aren't in your store right now.
Sorry.
I actually have a theory where they don't put enchanteds in the first print run, and they figure out what people are actually playing, and then make enchanted versions of it from any set, not just that set.
Okay.
And put it in the second
that would
print
take
run.
way too long.
Yeah, no. So like Beast, Ariel from set 1,
right?
Just like throw that in the set 4.
Like, oh yeah, like, to this day, Spectacular Singer, like, man,
yeah,
I would have killed for an enchanted at that for sure.
So like, you know, you're gonna buy the boxes to play with early, but then you have another reason to buy them a month in.
True.
That's been in my notes on my phone of a topic that we can talk about. So it's funny that you brought it up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. That was good.
Thought provoking.
But yeah, you know, did I miss any more specific cards here? If you're coming in late, as we're going through the subjects here, we'll keep coming back to that. Question of the day: what is the most you've spent on a single card? But for now, we're gonna move away and we're gonna let Dick Burns educate us.
Me?
All right, this is pure education time. Everyone, put your, ready to learn hats on, because I made a post on Facebook yesterday, and it was a bit concerning. It's the word I'm going to use, with the responses on this post, because people did not understand what it actually meant. And then we had this whole conversation about like, wow, like people don't actually understand like what this is, how it works, what the difference is between a buyout and a manipulation. Is there a difference? Is it the same thing? Like, so Dick, can we have a conversation about this $123 foil Strength of a Raging Fire? And no, this was a real photo. It did exist. It actually still does exist. But yes, there are now cheaper versions of this. But can you just hit me with the knowledge? All right, we got to know and understand, how does this work? How did this happen?
Well, first of all, some people were accusing the sellers of all getting together and deciding to raise their price, right?
Yeah.
Which is called collusion, and it is illegal in almost every facet. I've been to auctions where you sign something that says you're not going to agree with the other auction goers. Like, oh, you win this one for $5, I win this one for $5. Right. Yeah. Aside from the fact that there's also no contact button on TCG Player, so I don't even know how all these stores would get together. But the first thing I noticed is that there's only 4 listings in top right corner. Yeah. Right. So I'm assuming, since only 3 or 4. I can
make this bigger so we can see it, but you can see top right says as low as $123, 4 listings.
Yeah, so I'm assuming, since there was only like 3 or 4 that sold that day, that there was probably 8 listings, right? So someone just saw a great moment where the first 4 of them were listed at the $40 price, and then they saw no one else had any, or the next highest one was $123. So they went ahead and bought all of the cheap ones, leaving just these ones. There's a couple reasons you can do that. One, you only saw 4 listed that were cheap, and you're like, oh God, I better get them now. And there was nothing nefarious behind it. Or 2, somebody has a bunch of the foil ones in their possession, and they want to skyrocket the price, right? They want to buy out the card. And that's how I got into like having a play set of every card in Disney Lorcana. Is I would buy out cards that were priced wrong, or I would buy out cards that I was speculating on, and I would buy them slowly, maybe over the course of a month, so that the price doesn't jump drastically. And then in one day, buy the entire first 5 pages. And everyone starts freaking out. And everyone, is like raising their price and canceling my orders. And then all of a sudden I can just list, 4 Oswalds. They sell. List 4 more Oswalds. They sell. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were there as I was listing Oswalds.
Right.
Someone else was nice enough to do that buyout for me when I had already been hoarding them, just because it had the word free on it.
Yeah.
Like there's cards that I've taken a wash on, right? But like cards don't drop that drastically in price, so I can always sell them for what I paid. Oswald was a huge hit for me. Unfortunately, I didn't buy 1,000, but Yeah. So the other way of unloading stuff, because someone's gonna have to panic pretty hard to end up paying $123 for this.
Right.
So one way to do it is to buy them all out and then go to your local game store.
Right.
Be like, hey, do you want to buy these? And you have to have them in your possession already.
Right.
I should say, buying everything out all at once when you have none is stupid. It's so stupid.
It's so dumb.
As we're gonna see, the price will readjust.
Yeah.
And it could happen quickly. And it takes 7 to 10 business days for you to get the cards in the mail to sell them. Right. So so someone might go to their local game store, be like, hey, these are $123 on TCG Player. Do you want to buy them for $70? Yeah. And if they had been buying them all for 30 or 40, then that's great for them. And they just screw over the local game store. I had someone come into my store when I owned a store with Boreal Elf, which is just a worse Llanowar elves. And it was from a set that was not very popular. The cheapest foil listed was $25. Okay. He's like, yeah, do you want to buy these from me? He has like a whole binder of them basically. And then I click on the cheapest one listed and they were from New Jersey. I'm like, is this yours? This is the only one listed. He's like, yeah. He's like, no one else has them. And I was like, okay, well, you're banned from buying and selling in the store. Well, you're banned from selling in the store. Like, you could buy from me all you want, but you're not gonna like walk up to my random employee who doesn't know better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, as we could see from the comments and people on our own team, a lot of people don't know better.
No,
they just see that and they start panicking.
Yeah.
And then inevitably, what happens is the price is going to come back down. Because, okay.
Yeah, you can keep going.
The price is going to come back down because people are stupid is the number one reason. Sure. And, they maybe opened a strength in a booster pack and it's just been sitting in their binder. They're like, oh my God, it's worth $120. I'll sell mine for 70.
Right.
Like, I got it for $5.99 plus tax. I'll sell mine for 70. And then people are like, oh God, they're already 70. I better sell mine fast. I'll list it for 65.
Right.
And it just keeps going and going and going. And this is one of the detriments of Amazon and TCG Player. It's not like eBay where the number one result could be any seller. This is in order by price. You're encouraged to go under the next person, right?
Yeah. So this is probably about 18 hours.
Same seller.
Right? It's about 18 hours after it. So we already see that there's now 19 listens and the cheapest is $49. But
that's the same seller that had it for $123. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's
so
hilarious.
A couple things also that I didn't mention. One, a lot of people when they list stuff, especially if it's through a third-party platform like Crystal Commerce or maybe Shopify, they're gonna just list every card. They list the card and the price is already in.
Yeah.
And what the price is market price.
Yeah. Like,
right.
These are my favorite people. All right. These guys. Like, this guy has 2 sales and he puts up 4 for $100 each. Like, yeah, man. I believe you.
Very trustworthy. Very trustworthy individuals. So there's the people.
Listen, it might be a real person, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna work out.
I would expect that this person is a drop shipper.
Yeah.
Personally. So, they're just gonna buy it off eBay.
This guy was honest with his lightly played foil, He's like, I'm gonna be honest about it. It's lightly played, guys. It was in my deck.
What's funny is listing something lightly played is also another good way of selling your card for more sometimes.
Interesting.
Because you could be the only one. And if someone just happens to have the conditions selected.
Yeah.
I mean, we have also seen a few people recently that had their filters wrong.
Yeah.
And have seen wild stuff, right?
Yeah, we had what was it, like a $47 bell or something like that?
Yeah. And that turned out, to just be, I think they were looking at a specific store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you'll see a lot of people will have like a heavy play listed the same price as near mint cold foil. Because when you list on TCG Player, it's the box directly above it.
Yeah.
So they think they listed their near mint cold foil, but it's a heavy play card.
Yeah.
So we have the people that are going to list things as market price, which the market price didn't catch up to a buyout. And then you also have people that have auto pricing, where whatever the cheapest is, penny less.
Right.
And it's a bot and it's doing it all night.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened. We had, like, you basically saw it like through the day. Like, we watched it happen.
Yeah.
It was like 125, 124, 115, 100. And then this was like, oh, we'll get them at 99.88. We're going to get them, guys. And then it was just like, it just kept going. And then eventually it resets to basically exactly where it was. Now this is probably, I think the last one sold was, where's my last sold again?
View more data above 3 months snapshot. Scroll down to the right of the graph.
To the right. Oh, there it is. So they did sell at 50.
Yeah, so some people got 50 instead of 40 or 35 like it was.
Yeah, so like 31, 50, like 35, 25, like some people did get 50.
Yeah, but
there you go.
I think a lot of people were just like, this is
a meme. It's very clear that nobody got $123.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Not the best card to buy out. Something from set 2 that most people already have 4 of. The foil gamers already have their foils of.
Yeah.
You need to like buy out like 1-drop Diablo foil in case purple ever comes back into play.
What about Enchanted Tamatoa?
Yeah, so this is a great example of if someone just happened to list all their cards at market price. In the case of Tamatoa, they're getting screwed. In the case of Aurora, they're screwing over their customers. I have a couple of singles for sale now in the store that James and I are opening, and I had customers questioning some of the prices, both good and bad. And I explained to people, because it's a lot of people's first card game, do not go by market price whatsoever.
Yeah,
I said, if you guys want to go by market price, I will trade with you all day. You will not be happy in a week when you realize what happened. Because market price is the aggregate of the last 3 months of sales. That includes the pre-sale price, where commons and uncommons sell for $5. So if you would like this Diablo a week after it came out for $4,
yeah,
I will gladly take I'll give you 2 for a fish run quill. I'll be nice. You get 2 cards, I get 1. Yeah. Yeah. So market price, I don't know if there's something that they can do about it. I think nowadays, like, market price was a really good one. It was way better than TCG mid that people used to go by, which could also be manipulated.
Right.
But I think that in the internet age, it's just things are changing way too quickly. It's never going to be able to keep up with it. So what I suggest people do is they click verified seller and look at the cheapest person that has 4 of them in stock. Because any random moron like myself with half a green screen behind me can list a Maui Shark for $30 just because, oh my God, I paid $6 for a booster pack and I get 5 more booster packs.
I think my favorite is that Dick has probably described me about 90% accuracy just now. It's just why I'm glad I'm not a buyer at my shop.
It is very disheartening when people come in, they have a certain expectation.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just opened an Enchanted that was pre-selling for $400 and now it's worth $100.
Right.
And they see the market price and they think they're going to get $200 for it.
Yeah.
And then I would just be like, listen, I will sell them to you for $150. If you think they're worth $400, that's always the best thing. Like, Nick just talked about this from Top Deck Games in his Gamma Expo. People were complaining about him selling things at what they're actually worth just because he gets them from a wholesaler. And he goes, well, I'm willing to buy them from you for $75.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sell them for $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's just a great example. And that's what I would encourage people to say if like they work at a store or something. The worst was like when grandparents would come in with Pokemon cards that were like definitely in the bike spoke or like ran over and left outside at some point.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. This
just full disclosure. I thought you talked about the grandparents. I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, what happened?
No, most grandparents are in an urn. I mean, so anyway, like this one couple were furious with me.
Yeah.
And then the husband was furious with the wife, which took the heat off me. So I was happy. But they bring in 9 Pokemon cards. Okay. And I look at them and I go, I would pay nothing for these. I don't even want them. Sorry. And then he goes, which one's the most expensive? And then I said, they're all worthless, but this Raichu would be like $3, right? Non-foil base set Raichu pre-pandemic. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. So I show him TCG Player and eBay. It's like sold for like $275 free shipping. Yeah. And he's like, he turns to his wife. He's like, you got to say off Facebook. So they elaborate. She saw an article on Facebook that said 10 items that could be in your son's closet that's worth millions. So, yeah. It's hard. Like, I really hate buying Pokemon from the general public just because of like the Logan Paul effect and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Quite fair.
Hopefully that answers some questions because people were
I think the one that we want to touch on, what is the actual difference, if there is one, of buyout versus manipulation?
Well, I mean, if you're buying out stuff, you are manipulating the price, right? But I would say like if something was a strict manipulation, it would just be people colluding.
Right.
Like, especially on eBay. Like, you see it with, like, Disney VHS selling for $1,000. It's, like, 2 guys just selling them to each other. And then trying to list it for, like, 500.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, I could flip this for 1,000. You know, and they find, like, one sucker.
Yeah.
So.
Got him.
Yeah.
Got him.
There's a thrift store 20 minutes from me that has Disney VHS for $100 each.
Okay.
It actually blows my mind.
Okay.
I left a 1 star on Google.
1 star on Google, he says.
I was not happy.
Any questions for Dick there, Stefan, about this subject?
No, I definitely want to sign up for Dick's Metafy on how to buy and sell on TCG.
It's really funny.
People always ask for that.
It's really like it's really what's really sad is that we have like 6,000 word document already like on how to do this, and we haven't done anything with it. So, but yeah, it's actually a very common question that comes up. But it's funny because they're between Dick and all of his information, how much he has learned over the years, and then how much Scott has learned all over the years, like. There's a lot of education there, to be sure. Like there's no doubt.
Yeah, I've talked about it before for a little bit previously, but I only got into constructed Disney Lorcana because people had their shipping settings wrong on TCG Player. It's a lot of people's first ever card game. If you charge $4.99 shipping, you only pay it once, and a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah,
and I at Locals in Florida had something shipped to a friend's house, 50 cards for a penny, $4.99 shipping, and they were all $5 cards.
Yeah.
So everything
that's literally just the default. You match the seller or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Rough.
And people actually shipped them. They in Pokemon, it's like 1 out of 4 people will ship the cards. In Magic, you're never getting the cards.
Right.
Almost everyone actually shipped the cards and followed through with their promise.
I mean, I guess you gotta build the.
It's like lesson learned. Like,
yeah.
I definitely did it when I started on TCG Player. I didn't cancel the order.
Fun fact: I did not because I listened to Dick Burns.
Yeah, like I mean, the whole thing with like, I think the last time I bought on TCG Player was around Inklands, because by that time, I mean, like sometimes like I understand that we're very blessed in the area that we're in, so we have a lot of shops with singles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't like the thought of having to wait, 7 to 21 business days for a card is just wild.
Yeah. They've recently lowered it.
Okay.
Yeah, now it is like 7 to 10 days. Yeah.
Okay.
Although there's so much mail missing.
Yeah.
Like since the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
I order a ton of cards. Nothing I need to play with. I've got probably 5,000 cards next to me, just that I buy to speculate on. And I would say at least 10% have just lost to the mail. Which it's usually probably like 2 to 3%.
Yeah. And then even recently, they just sent out that email, like, because there's been so much complaint that you're actually now like, you're supposed to say like, hey, check back in 2 days, because like it almost feels like they made the correction to like make it feel better for the buyer, but then they understand that the seller is just like, dude, like, what do you want me to do? Like we're like refunding these and they're definitely showing up. They're just like, some days are harder, like some areas are worse, like
I had a $1,000 Pokemon order loss for 3 months, and it finally got to the people.
We had a
TCG Player backed me up. Yeah,
wow.
It was stuck in Philadelphia.
I remember Shimmering Skies, the Enchanted Mufasa. We were very fortunate. We opened 3 of them. And we had some guy that bought all 3 of them, and it was like the one order. And I did like, I'm not even kidding, I probably did 350 orders that week. No problems. The one order that was the problem was 3 Enchanted Mufasa. And I'm like, bro, like I do not know what to do. Like it's gonna show up, and like finally it did like a week after the fact. But it was one of those where you're just like, come on, like the one order that goes missing is this one, like some $700 order, like, oh my god, it was awful. It felt so bad.
Yeah, that envelope probably ended up almost ended up in the elephant graveyard.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So lots of new friends in the house. Question of the day: what is the most you have spent on a single card? We've been talking about a different, couple highlights already in the chat from earlier. But if you're coming in, let us know, because I think it's interesting. Because could you really like? I mean, I can't, but could you imagine if Strength of a Raging Fire was $100 foil? I mean, like it seems preposterous, right?
I feel like if it was a Magic card, it would be $100.
Like all the time. Like,
yeah, me and James were just talking about it. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about this with Dad Connor the other day. Like the idea that we're having conversations about cutting, like finally, like cutting goats and cutting rabbits and cutting like snakes and stuff like that. It's like it took a year and a half for that to happen. But we're not talking about cutting Strength of Raging Fire and Let the Storm Rage on. Like that ain't happening, right? Oh, this is a good one. I do like. This is a very good foil. I do. Oh, we had to buy it. Oh no, so sad. So sad. Stitch promos. I wonder how much this was at the time. Like, are these higher or lower now?
They're a lot lower now.
A lot lower. Like, are they like 200 Stitch now?
I don't remember.
Oh, PSA.
I know.
Okay, way better.
The playmat. The playmats. It's like 200 for the runner-up, and like 175 for the winner.
Yeah, I sold both of mine recently for like in that range. Yeah.
When I sold my first one, I sold it for either 500 or 700.
Yeah.
And then I gave away the rest. But it's insane the difference. Yeah. I just offered someone 100 for one so I could use it as a prize, and he was just like, I'm just keeping it forever.
Like a relic of the past, if you think about it. We'll never have a set champ like that ever again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
we just didn't have competition back then. That was the pinnacle.
No. I disagree. At least for our area, it was.
Nice. Must be nice to live in Florida.
It was the sweatiest 3 weeks of my life.
I don't even know if it's that. It's just like, what are the odds that we actually get a good card?
Oh, I meant like we didn't have DLCs or like anything big to play for.
Got it.
So people were willing to go anywhere.
Well, even that, like the idea that it was 2 weeks and you can be played on any day. You know, I mean,
yeah,
like,
I missed those were the good days.
You guys were playing like Tuesdays and Wednesday nights and stuff like that.
It was
you guys
great.
were playing till 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. Like, hello.
When you get a chance to ask Hector how many mats he won and how many cards he won. It is a wonderful conversation.
Is it more than George?
So
is it double digits?
Hector was public enemy number 1 by week 3.
I mean,
top
George,
2.
George was certainly public enemy number 1 here.
Yeah.
George literally drove. So George was in North Jersey, and he drove south all the way to Baltimore and north all the way to like Boston to play in different set championships when they were on days.
Yeah, he was. I think he was top 2, probably 90% of the stores in the area, and the other 10% is because he just didn't go.
Do you remember, Dan? People would not tell me where the set champs were.
I remember people would not tell you where they were going to play at set championships.
No, like, well, people were like, yeah, there's this one in Maryland I'm going to. I'm like, oh, where? And they're like, I'm not telling you. And then I found out and I showed up. Everyone was furious. I felt like Brock Lesnar just went through the curtain to go win Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Like, everyone popped when I walked through that building.
Yeah, see? Like, Orion lives 5 hours away from me, and George
slept in his car that night, right?
Yeah.
He
also wouldn't tell me where that one was either.
Yeah.
Wild. No, it was like, like I remember we would stop playing at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, go to like take my kids to school and daycare 7 o'clock. Survive at work on caffeine and whatever, and then what's the next store we're going to play? Like it was miserable. Like the first week was amazing. It felt like they were just so invigorating, and towards the end we were just so irritable with each other. There were more fights towards the end.
Yeah,
like it was it was bad.
It's just so funny because I literally I like conceded my first weekend because I went and hosted a tournament in Minnesota at the Game Center there. So like I didn't even play First Stitch the first weekend.
Yeah.
And then I'm finding out Dick's over here making like $1,000 in a 12-person tournament. And I'm like,
dude, I didn't want to. After I won the first one and the cards sold, I was happy and I was gonna stop. And my wife said, yeah, okay, and we're gonna get divorced. Is what you're saying? Like we were homeless at the time, so we really needed the money.
Yeah. It's true.
Oh god.
Oh, we are nearing our.
Josh says this, and then he starts sweating profusely every time I walk into a tournament.
Oh, I mean that checks out.
We're
nearing our second topic of the day. And Stefan, you went somewhere this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
You guys did a thing. I heard that you guys rolled up in a giant van. Like
we did. It was.
I'm upset. I feel like I didn't see a picture of the giant van, and I was like, man, I wish I did.
I've got a few. I got a few from the inside that I can send of us having.
Okay, yeah. Not for public display. I understand.
Well, Dan knows about it because I was walking down the road and you guys pulled up and tried to grab me, but then you realized who I was.
Yeah.
If anything, that makes me want to grab you even more. So.
Well, I was too heavy. Was going to be the joke. It took all 16 of you to.
How was the SSG invading CCS weekend for you guys?
So it's actually funny. You have me to thank.
Okay.
I was pushing for us to go to CCS because I wanted Devin to see, like, like this is the next level we want to get to, right? When it comes to that amount of seating for our events and stuff like that. So it was definitely for me and Devin, it was more of a business trip. Because we were also going to try to check out, I think it's called Cards HQ, as well, because they do like the Whatnot streams, which is something that we're really interested in right now.
Okay.
But I said, and there's going to be or at the time $12,000 Lorcana tournament, and Devin's like, we're going.
Yeah. So yeah, didn't need to twist his arm.
Yeah. So he, we got. It's actually funny. Could you go back to the picture?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, I'll get. So I'm gonna circle. So starting from the right side, because that makes more sense to explain.
We got Mustache, Jack.
Yeah. So we've got Ray. Ray was so like the core crew that was slated to go was Ray, starting from the right, Jack with the headphones.
Yep.
Devin, the owner in the middle, next to Hector, the winner.
Yeah.
Kylie's girlfriend Celeste, and then my wife VNA that I have my arm around. And then in the 11th hour, Martine, which is in between Devin and Jack, was able to go. And then you have Mitch all the way to the far left. He decided to join us. And I actually realized something, that we're missing one more person, Kyle.
Oh.
But I think he was in the middle of a game. Yeah, he was in the middle of a game, because this was the picture they took after Hector had won. Yeah. So like they came last minute, and then like we were like, all right, like based on the sheer numbers, someone here has to top.
Sure.
Right? So like we have to, like, somebody has to win this thing, if anything.
Sure.
We just, like, I had already been to CCS, so I was explaining it to everybody. I'm like, it's kind of like, I feel like that feels like it used to be like a Marshall's or like a big department store or something like that.
Yeah, it's giant building.
Exactly. So I was explaining, I was like, you walk through the vendor area, which is like very reminiscent of like a flea market, and then you have the tables in the back where they host the games, and like, I'm like, they do quarterly XK events. In this case, it's a 12K. So I got everybody to sign up, and we showed up, and we kind of did a quick tour really quick, because getting everybody ready on time to show up usually last minute. So we all had a delicious, nutritious Starbucks breakfast.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Prior to the event firing, but yeah. And we all had a great time. We all had pretty decent runs, in at least in expectations compared to how we do for our locals. Unfortunately, towards the end, we had a team kill. So Martine, he got paired into me, and he was playing red blue, and I was on steel song. So like the writing was kind of on the wall there. It was at 19 lore for 3 turns, and I wish I had a glass slipper at that time.
I don't know if that's the card I'd hope for, but yeah, sure.
It was better than anything else I was getting. So
spaghetti dinner.
Spaghetti dinner is the answer, guys.
No, I wouldn't have had a character out to trigger it anyway. So
flute. We just needed a flute, and then pray.
I had a better chance of Martine having a heart attack and me winning that game at 19. But numbers are numbers.
Yeah.
So that knocked me out. But even then I was like X2, and then I think people were explaining like it's gonna be super difficult to get in X2 anyway. So like once I went X3, I was like, all right, time to do I did pack rush with my wife, so that was fun. Bonding time.
Yeah.
And no, but other than that, like Hector held a really strong record day one.
Mm-hmm.
So we came home that night, kind of just kept the vibes going, right?
So,
like it was.
So not to interrupt, but we because there's a clear difference in the tournaments, right?
Sure.
Because they play 7 rounds,
mm-hmm.
and you guys were done by like 6:45,
7
o'clock, right? Like, what was your feeling of that concept of like, all right, it's 7 o'clock, we had done, we did our day, and now we get to go rest, and we come back for the morrow. So like, what was like your vibe on that, and what was the team vibe on that?
So I have a lot of perspectives on that. Mm-hmm. As a producer, I love it.
Sure.
It for me, it means that I get to go home. Well, and also because that there's a day 2, like you can plan for that accordingly. But like, our first ever big events, like I think the after packing up and everything, I was out by 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
I was there at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So like those long days, I had a
even the day that we were there in February, it was like I got there like 8:15 and we didn't leave until like 11:45 at night.
Yeah. So it was very refreshing to see that that's an option. And the one thing I am not a fan of, only because of the way we do it, is that I like, logistically speaking, I couldn't make the 3K on Sunday if I wanted to, because we were flying out Sunday night. We even took the latest flight. I barely got to the airport on time. And that's even just watching Hector in the finals and then letting the rest of the people do the 1K. And because we were essentially at a point where like, we're about to leave you and you figure out how to get home.
Right.
And so that's the one thing I wasn't a fan of, but like for that to plan is like, just leave Monday.
How late? Like how late? I guess I wasn't paying attention. Was it? It was like pretty late. It was like 6-7 o'clock at night.
It was late, and when we asked, we're like, "How long does this take?" And they're like, "Until it's done."
Yeah.
So that was the deterrent that prevented us.
You left before like the top 8 of the 1K, right? Or like the 3K, whatever it was.
Yeah, because I think by that time everyone had either like, they're out of pricing, or they just dropped for this because they don't want to figure out how to get home.
Yeah. Well, the other big thing was I mean, I personally, I get it from their standpoint, but I also don't necessarily agree with it because of their own time frame. Like if you want people to be able to play in the Sunday event that don't make like top 8, then why not just play 9 rounds and then go to your top 8 on day 2? Like, because you're staying, there's no way that they were done by like before 7 o'clock, right? Like the 1K, like it's impossible, not with 146 players. So that's the one thing that always like I get confused about, because I'm just like, why is it such a big deal that on Saturday we have to be out of here by 7, but on Sunday it's like, nah, it's cool, we can be here till 10 o'clock at night. It's like, I don't like what's it's weird.
Did I hear that, and totally speculation, if anything, that the area is not too friendly?
So that's what I've always been told.
Definitely have heard that,
Okay.
And I'll never take it back.
So I don't, I don't know. I spent a week in there. It seems like the same as any other place, in my opinion.
I've been to worse. I mean, we live by O-Town, which is pretty scary.
I think that's the weird thing to me. It feels like they're trying to get like kind of like eat your cake, like get your cake and eat it too type scenario, where they're like, all right, whoever doesn't make top 8 is just gonna like quick fire into this event, which means we got to start the event 2 hours late. Like if that 3K just started at 10 a.m. with the rest of them, you would basically have everyone that dropped that has no chance of making top 8. So like I don't know how many players played in round 8 as an example, as compared with the rest of the tournament. But we know that, 8 people that were even 7 and 2 didn't even make top 16. So like, if you were already X2, if you were like 5-2 going into day 2, you should not even be playing in day 2. You should be like, oh, I'll just sign up for the 1K or the 3K, whatever it was, and move on. So yeah, I just think that to me, the 7 rounds cut to the thing is just such a weird concept. I totally am all for like, let's play 9 rounds and cut to day 2. Like, and the day 2 will start. Those guys will play in their day 2. That way that gets done in a nice hour, and we can still start this, this day 2, 3K event, whatever, on time. And then that way it'll like, that also kind of plays out that way. That's how I've always looked at it.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I don't know, if I was in top 8 and I was in contention for either the split pricing or to play it out for the actual pricing, there is not a chance that I'm going to follow that up with another day-long event, because I'm going to be happy with what I want. And
listen, some people are crazy, right? And I get that.
George dropped from
George 8. Actually, when George went last year, he literally made top 8, tried to get the split, no one did it, and he just conceded and went and played it. He's like, all right, whatever, I concede, I'll go play more.
Yeah,
wow,
it's hilarious. But yeah, I think also like they're just getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. So like it may have worked out fine when, there was still a flea market in the room. But now, like, you weren't there at this one. The flea market section was gone. Yeah. Which I was very sad about. Yeah. Some viewers came up to me and were like, Dick, the flea market's not here. how are you going to pay for this trip? Like, I was so happy that people would like retain that information. I did buy some Legos and some football figures for eBay though, so trip's paid for. Yeah, I was never going back Sunday unless I was 6-0 going into round 7, and like even if I took it one loss in round 7, I was not going back Sunday at all. I had booked my my hotel for Friday night and Saturday night to wake up Sunday morning and drive 9 hours home. Yeah, so I was really I wasn't expecting anything from the event. I had a great time. Like the event was absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it's because there's 300 people or if it's because I was like the only one there from the team. Way more people came up to me that were fans of the show, which I appreciate every single one of you. Like someone brought Tweedledee and Tweedledums for me to sign because he's like, yeah, I remember on the podcast you said you wish you got to show off this card and that your daughter's name is Alice. Yeah. And then like I told you, I met a kid. He's probably like 5, and I signed a Forbidden Mountain for him. And I gave it to him. His dad asked me, oh, you might meet my son? Yeah, I'd love to. And then he looked up. He goes, the Forbidden Mountain, which made my whole weekend. But so like I know people are always after every event will message you and say, you guys were like in a circle. I didn't want to interrupt you guys while you were talking. So I think that also helped. Like a bunch of people came up and said thank you for the content and like everything. So it was fantastic. But yeah, I think that they just weren't expecting or anticipating 300 people. Yeah, like when they originally made the structure, and they might have to rethink it. But that's a good thing.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good problem to have.
Yeah. It's just one of those where obviously if it's going to get bigger, they also, they got to learn too, right? Like you guys have now kind of had 2 events of basically sold out capacity, and we're still learning, right? Yeah. It takes a lot. I see we have a friend getting ready. He's gearing up the camera. It looks like. I think. Are we ready? He gave me the thumbs up. He's perfect. He's coming. He's our CCS champion. Welcome, Hector. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Good, and you guys?
We're great. We're chilling. We're talking about you, actually, because we got the picture here of the finale, right? You picked up the win. I can't figure out. I was trying. What is this what's that in the top left corner there on your plate?
That's the card done by the artist.
Okay.
It's like is an Olaf holding a trophy that says CCS, the date, and it says first place. So it's like his little altered card.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. All right.
It's not the marshmallow.
Yeah, it's on marshmallow. Okay, yeah. That's a sweet little prize. All right. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't figure it out in the picture. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So Hector, this past weekend, you picked up the big win in 319 player tournament. It was really funny. There was a round where, they were simulcasting the event, and like there was a Hector playing Amber Steel and a Hector playing Ruby Sapphire. And I'm like, well, I know the Ruby Sapphire Hector.
Yeah. So a little funny thing about that. So they were they put us both on the feature at the same time. So I'm sitting in the back wall, and I hear 2 people behind me saying, "Oh, Hector."
Yeah.
So I look back. I'm like, I don't know anyone. So I sit. I'm about to sit. The person's like, Hector, screaming again. So I look back, and I'm like, man, I don't know. And then the third time, the girl and the dude were like, Hector. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know you. What? And then I didn't realize that there was another Hector on the other side of the table playing at the same time. So I felt like a douchebag.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And what you didn't also know is at the time is that Twitch chat was like, there can't be 2 Hectors in the world. This has got to be wrong, guys. And I'm like,
no. The funny thing about that round is that I played him round 8 the next morning. So we played each other right after. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah. But I definitely got a good chuckle out of the world that like just couldn't believe there had to be 2 Hectors on screen. Like, oh, they messed up the template. I'm like, or they're just both named Hector. I don't know. Seems possible, guys. Too funny. So you had a really good run. Like after the weekend, obviously we covered the deck on the channel earlier in the week. You really felt like your deck. I kind of keep expressing it as like an everything bagel. Like you just have like all the best cards in Disney Lorcana in your deck, and you're like, yeah, like they're all good. We're gonna play them all. But talk to me kind of like about that, like that thought process of like, hey, I want Maui, I want Sisu, I want it all because they're all good. So what about this set has kind of like made Ruby Sapphire even better in your opinion?
Okay, so when I started on the list, everybody has asked me. I told them the same thing. The DKP list wasn't my style.
Sure.
And then the full control version wasn't my style either. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna mesh together both decks, try different ratios, and play something that I liked. Right. So last set, I played something. I played something similar, but I had Hades in it over Medusas, and it worked out fine. I topped the 10K with it. So I kind of just tried it out, and we had a release tournament. I did well. I finished 6-2. I didn't quite make the top cut, but the deck felt good.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to just switch to another deck that I didn't have experience with, because I believe in, like, I pick a deck at the beginning of the format and I just refine it and I just keep playing with it.
Right.
Because I feel like it helps me get out of like tough situations, and it's a lot better compared to us playing a new deck and then I don't know how to mulligan, I don't know how to take certain lines of play. So I just stuck with red blue, right? The weekend before, it felt good. I just did a couple of ads here and there, and I thought it was going to be good against blue steel. So I expected a lot of blue steel, so it worked out fine. What I didn't know after was a lot of the players that were playing red blue there were playing the more full control version with no B prep.
Yeah.
And higher bombs like Tamatoa, Maleficent Dragon.
Yeah.
And it kind of it kind of paired well into me, just because when I saw the open deck list, I said, okay, they don't have a single out to Maui Shark until you get to Maleficent Dragon. Or people were saying, oh, but if we have coil, well, my argument was, if you have double coil and the card to ink and the Medusa, then you deserve to kill a shark. Like, there's no, my shark did his job, I guess.
You got it all, man.
Yeah, so my game plan just was, like, go, lower to the ground under them, where I'll ramp into the shark, and then once the shark came to the board, even if they did have B prep, like, he would just sit there chipping damage here and there, and I wouldn't have more than 2 to 3 creatures at a time to force them to B prep at some point.
Right.
And then I'll just refill the board and go from there and kind of close out the game with like Pyre Life. And that's pretty much exactly what I did to every blue steel. I was just drop my guys, I'll set up a shift Sisu, and then in blue steel you develop 1 coil and pretty much just answer everything they do so they don't chip damage you, and it gets to a point that they can't really come back.
Yeah, that was like the one thing when I felt like I think I specifically watched 2 games of yours. I did not get to see the finals, unfortunately, but in the tournament, I was like, you know what, this deck, the way it was registered, you topped out at 8. We didn't go to 9 or anything like that, and you weren't even like, you didn't even play Tamatoa, right? If I remember correctly.
No big Tamatoa.
So I said, I was like, but even when he was playing it, I felt like it was truly like a top out at 6, and then when you had to, you be paired, because almost always you were like working on those shift lines. And there were multiple turns where you were getting up there in ink counts, and you were just like, all right, here's shift and a bomb. Like, here's my shift Sisu and a high rim. Like, and you're just like continuously pressuring the board with all of those contents in mind. And it just felt like you, like, kind of what you just said to me totally checks out, because it felt like you're like, no, like, I know this game plan. I know how I'm going to attack these decks, and I don't think that they can defend them well. And it definitely paid off.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Maui Shark." People are playing blue steel with Zeus. Yeah, I get it. They have Zeus, but they don't have it every time. Right. So the moment that they don't, like, he just gets me an advantage, and I'll just like loop actions. Get a little bit of burn and just keep developing. You go wide because they don't have the same removal that red does. So that's the way I pretty much tackled every blue steel. I played about maybe 6 of them total.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So.
And the big thing too is, like, I think your deck is very well positioning at removing their singers, so it's not like they're just exerting Scrooges to sing Zeuses. Like, they got to pay full retail for that too. So it's like, if you pay 6 and then they have to take their turn off and pay 4, it's like, yeah, you might have lost 2 ink there, but like realistically, they still have to take a portion of their turn to deal with your card that was going to win the game.
Yeah.
So big deal. For first time in CCS for you?
Yes, first time.
So what was the experience compared to kind of what you're used to at the home base?
The experience was nice. There was a lot of players. It felt good to be going to another high level tournament where a lot of players actually travel to. to play against because we're in a little drop where there's no DLCs and things like that. So we kind of want to keep our skills sharp, and it wasn't too far from home. So I actually wasn't gonna go, but last minute, spoke to the wife and we said we gotta go because it's been a while, and it worked out. But everybody was super nice. The only thing I didn't like was that we played so many rounds and it was cut to top 8 only. It kind of sucked for some players that bubbled out when you play all day against that competition and then you don't have a shot to try to win it all. So I would say if they do better, so do like top 16 because there was a lot of players there.
Yeah. How was your feeling about like the day 1 7 rounds and then come back for 2 more rounds and then top? How was that feeling for you?
I don't know. To be honest, I'd rather have them all in one day.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes, like, let's say once you warm up and you get going, you're on your streak, and you're going strong, and then mental wise, right? So you're in the zone, you're ready to go, and then it just ended. I think it ended like at 5 or 6, right? And then like, all right, well, we're going home. So you never know the next day how you start, right? You got to warm up, and you don't really know how that will go. So I'm a big believer in that. We might as well get them all out of the way. Yeah. And then you just rest and you have a game plan for top 8, top 16, whatever it is. So that one was a little weird, I guess. Maybe they work on that too.
Yeah, I think it's especially for me, like seeing the different now events, how much bigger they've gotten. I mean, the December one, I think you guys had almost 100 more players than we did, for March. So that's a big difference for sure, because it was a whole extra round too, I believe. I'm pretty sure we weren't 9 rounds in.
Yeah, you guys did 8. I was
watching. It was 8 rounds.
Yeah, we had to come back for 1 round.
For 1 round, right? Yeah, like the next morning it was 1 round. I was like,
right?
Dude,
Then it's just like imagine you got to come back for 1 round. You're doing well. Yeah, and then that means you have to get accommodations for another day, and then you go the next day and you don't make it. Yeah, you're just like, well, I guess I'm staying here. I guess it's a PR move too, because you get people.
Yeah, like it is one of those where it's like, okay, like if there is something else to do that day, like I get it, it's fine. But I think personally I would much rather be like you. Like I'd rather play all day of Swiss and then just cut to a top 8 and be like, all right, like at least I have a choice to make. Like, oh, do I want to go back and play in this 1K, 2K, 3K, whatever it is, or do I just kind of want to like jump on the day, But it does feel like they're getting you in the room, so you're in, right? You're taxed.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Something different. I mean, they said they were going to do a bunch of side events because there was going to be mats here and there, but within the first hour, somebody bought out side events, and all the mats were gone. So now it's just like, well, what do we do here?
Yeah.
So maybe they could just limit that for a little while.
I heard that was like one of the first things I heard about the weekend was just like, there was like 8 mats and they were gone in 90 minutes. I was like, oh, that sucks.
This is why I absolutely hate prize tickets.
Yeah.
It's always abusable.
Yeah.
Like if it was this tournament, first place gets a mat. Next tournament, first place gets a mat. Completely different.
Yeah, like literally like
with no cap.
Win a box, it's just a win a mat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or what you do is you just schedule the side events, right? Instead of just being like, hey, you could buy 20 side events here and get the tickets. Just schedule the side events so people could actually play in them.
Yeah.
And maybe not just buy out the whole shop.
Yeah, and that's like the epitome of a learning moment, right? Like they're like, okay, like we won't let that happen again, hopefully, It actually reminded me of the DLC, the guy that like basically bought infinite. What was it? He bought.
Oh, the guy? You mean right? You mean Tommy Williams?
Yeah.
He bought 50 badges, and then they refunded. They refunded 49 because they realized what he did.
Yeah, because he did it too late. But I heard people were doing it. I mean, think about it. I would have. I mean, never mind. I would have.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like,
I never blame the players. I'm only poking fun at Tommy because it's one of my friends.
Yeah.
But I don't blame the players for taking advantage of the situation that they were put in.
Because they weren't checking. Like, they were not checking. I know someone that bought like 10 badges and they were like, well, this is for my family. And they were like, okay, well, here's your 10 badges with your 20 tickets or whatever it was,
Yeah.
Oh,
they got smart and they said, all right, you have to.
Family.
Yeah. They got smart after a while.
There was also a reason they stopped doing multiplayer tournaments. So those were also abusable.
They were also abusable. Well, that's because Melee didn't understand them. But
yeah. Well, I mean, they could have just hand wrote them. They didn't have to do it through Melee.
No, I know. Hey, they had to get their Melee fees, guys. So coming up pretty soon, what is this, next Saturday? My God. We have the 15Ks tournament. You know, Stefan, this has been sold out since the moment it went on sale pretty much. But, you know, how excited are we to kind of just get back at this?
We are no longer sold out, by the way. So let's
no.
With that. We got our chairs in.
Okay.
So it'll be nice and tight, but we did add a couple more seats. So
I like it.
What's our cap?
Our cap right now is 174.
All right.
That fills up. So that should get everybody who is on the waiting list in now, plus a couple of extra seats. So we'll see how that goes. And if it caps out again, you know, I have a little bit of room to add some more. I just want to make sure that we allocate some table space for. I want to see if we could try to get some side events started earlier, because there's some people. We've had some feedback of people that are too nervous to play in the main event, but they really like our side events.
Yeah, I mean $10 winner boxes is awesome.
Yeah, so we'll leave some space for that early on, so that way if some people feel like doing that, that'll be it.
We need less Bick Dern size players and more Melissa size players.
I'm excited because I just came from another podcast and my friends are Freedom Gaming. I have a bone to pick with you guys.
Oh, those
we meet them on Monday.
Monday night. Said, y'all better prepare for Monday. Dick Burns, I don't really know you like that, but they say you suck. That they're waiting for you. They are waiting for you, and Monday is going to be a spectacle. I thought that maybe
me and Sploosh are on third. Me and Sploosh are on 3.
Oh, I can't wait to turn in for that one.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to watch, because if you guys beat them too, I'm going to talk my crap to them. But maybe you guys. I heard you guys are coming to the charity event, right? So maybe we could set up some fun Iron Man games, like Gauntlet style, like 3v3s, you know, where we sit and you got to eliminate everybody to make some, you know, nice content. That will be some nice, you know, team battles out there.
The setup exists there, so it's all easy. I mean, it's more work for Stefan, but like, you know, that's not my problem.
No, you guys just come prepared. Come prepared and have some good games. I think it will be nice.
I think we
can hash it out.
I'm there like a whole day. We're there a whole day early, so like, we're there all day Friday doing nothing anyway. I'm just saying.
We have locals Friday. We can make it super spicy if you want.
Yeah, that's because you guys want to play till midnight on Friday nights. Like, we gotta sleep, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, that place could take the time from you. There's plenty of times where, like the Thursday before CCS, they did of course, because they're notorious for like pop-up events. I know. Where they're like, hey, we're going to give away a Tesla in 2 hours. Show up and play. You know, so Thursday night.
You're topping. So, like, you know.
But the problem, topping is great and it feels good. But getting the butt whooping at home by the family is not
So, happy life, happy life.
So the Thursday night before CCS, there was a 7-box tournament. They said first place would get one of every box out. Yeah. So we were playing, and we decided to split in the finals. It was like 3:40 in the morning, and I had an hour drive home. And then when we have children, we wake up early with our children, so it was rough, right?
I don't.
Yeah, I do. I feel you.
Yeah, it was. They do not believe in sleep. They wake up. They're like my original alarm clock, man. They just every morning.
My wife does that. I sleep till noon every day.
Must be nice.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Does she see these? Does she see these? Because
I mean, she complains every day, but you know, we're married, so
I can't comment to my wife. If you're watching this, I love you.
Liz knows I love her. I appreciate her.
Yeah, I actually retweeted the pop-up event. I'm like, why don't I just live in Miami? I don't understand. This is so sad. But there's a bit of a celebration to follow through here. We're having a whole celebration in your name for a 3K event on Sunday. This is awesome, by the way. I love it. You know, we're like, you know what? We're gonna double down. We have 140-ish, 50-ish people already signed up. they can't make Saturday, then hey, we're just gonna run it back on Sunday. You know, I do love
Yeah,
that.
we took all of Hector's earnings and we put it in the prize pool. So.
Yeah, whatever I want is going back to the players. I'm a very nice person.
Charitable donations.
Now I'm gonna have to play to earn my money again because these diapers are not.
That's assuming you're winning, good sir.
I know, man. These I go to my home shop to take beatings because gotta play my life out there, man. It never goes smooth, right? It goes smooth everywhere else, but then I'm there fighting for my life every round.
Very, very fair. It was a pleasure. I can't wait to see you guys again next week, and I'm so excited. Like, obviously, you know, we said this month we clashed. We each had events on the same day. April, nope, we're all wide open. We're coming down, having a lot of fun. I'm very excited. I was so excited that when I booked my ticket today, I booked flying from Florida to Philadelphia because I'm stupid. Yeah, I had to book a whole other ticket. Yeah. It happens. It's okay.
It'd be nice to see you guys down here. I'll spend more time with you guys. It'll be nice to kick it a little bit, run some games because I've seen you guys a couple times. You know, we've said hi, but you know, I like to get personal with people.
Yeah,
we'll meet with friends, play some games, have a good time, and Lorcana is all our little getaway, so it's always nice. And that's what I love about the events, like just traveling with your group of friends. Yeah, and meeting a lot of players, you know, like after CCS, a lot of players came up to me, like saying, "Hi, man, congratulations!" Like that made me feel good as well, right? Because that community is a lot better than anything else than winning by like cheating or any allegations. You know, it's just it feels a lot better.
Yeah,
that way.
Man, do I love those comments.
I was gonna say I'm glad that we have you on here, and I'm glad that you guys have a Sunday event showing off your win. Since it's being overshadowed by so much crap. So
we need the good in the community, and obviously there's a lot of changes that need to be made, but same time, get over it, we move on, and we try to take the best of it, right? So for my money, they're probably gonna put a bounty on me, and I'm gonna give away. I'm gonna have to be cleaning dishes in the back to make up for my losses. Come stress me out a little more. I mean, look, I already lost my hair, so.
I think that was gone already, right?
Yeah, but it grows here and there, so just come, stress me out even more.
Did you at least get the cool hat to go with it?
Which cool hat?
I just love the new Southside hats, guys. Like I just love them. They look so nice.
This hat, I walked into the shop, right? Yeah. I saw it there and I was like, man, I really like this hat. So I kind of stole it from them. They don't really know. And then they discontinued this hat and they switched to something else. Ooh. So then I guess I got the 101, I got lucky.
There you go. All
right. Put that on a Whatnot stream.
Yeah. There we go.
signed by Hector, 101.
101, that's it. There's no more.
Well, as I said to Stefan, you guys made it really easy for us to want to come back. So I'm very excited to come back and kind of enjoy the crew again. I loved having chats with Jack. He always brings something nice to the table to have a good conversation for. So I'm very excited to get to go, spend another weekend, meet you guys again, have a lot of fun, have the chats. It'll be good. Looking excited.
Awesome. Likewise, and whoever can make it down here, it's like come approach us, come talk to us, come hang out, play some games. A lot of people are, I don't want to say weird in a sense of like, breaking the barrier to approach players just because, we've topped some events or anything like that, but that's not the case with us. We like to build relationships because, we want to build a community. So we want you, just like you just said, you're very happy to come back. At least you got a good taste of how we really are down here, right? So it makes you want to come more. So we love building relationships with everyone so we could keep this going as long as we can.
I love it. I'm going to thank you for that link there, Stefan. I will post that in chat for us now. I didn't see it in a moment, but we got it. There you go. Is this Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday.
This is a Sunday event? All right, there you go. It's out in the ether. I'll add it into the description after the fact. But I am grateful for your time tonight, Hector. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us. You and Stefan, of course. Congratulations again on your win. I said I didn't get to watch the finals. I was having Sunday dinner. I'm sorry. But I did watch the rest of the run, and you played very well. So it was very cool to see SSG go out there kind of, for a lot of different reasons, honestly. But for you to come away with the win, it's pretty awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And good luck with you guys on Monday because you guys are going to need it against my boys. You guys better be ready. Come hot because I'm going to fight with the wife so I can get an hour or two to watch. So I'll be hiding in the closet just watching. So make it worth my time.
What a long hour that night.
I'm not allowed to trash talk anymore. I might end up in another private discussion in a South Florida Discord from people who like to snipe other people's streams. But so I'm just gonna be quiet, and I look forward to playing Freedom Gaming.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun Monday night for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to have you guys get out of here because we're going into our next section, and I have some other guests that I got to bring on tonight. But seriously, thank you guys for joining me for the time that you were here. And I'm going to see you guys literally in like a week. It's kind of crazy.
All right. Thanks for having me, and you guys have a good night.
Have a good one, sir.
Take care, everyone.
I am signed up for the Sunday event. I was the first person in.
The first person? Yeah, I wasn't positive if we were releasing it or not. So now I guess I know that we were.
Or you just put him on the spot.
No, he sent me the link. What are we talking about? Obviously I know.
I'm messing with you.
All right. So that was fun. Huge shit out to SSG again, of course. But we got to go into segment 2 here. We're running late, and I don't want to keep anyone else waiting. I mean, one of these girls down here, they've been hanging out with us for like an hour now. But yeah. I'm gonna formally bring in your coworker, right? To start.
I was gonna say we have a friend and we have a coworker.
Yeah, so we have our coworker.
Hi, friends.
She's sometimes okay, but she's here hanging out with us tonight. She came in right on time.
For the record, I was watching the whole time.
I know you were.
We know.
It was probably Ben watching, but whatever.
Sure.
But we do have another friend. First time on the channel tonight. Hello.
Hey, friend.
Hey, guys.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in there.
I love it. Welcome. Your first time here. So,
First timer.
The topic of the day, before we get into our true topic here, right? For you guys, you've been hanging out. What is the most you have spent on a single card in Disney Lorcana since I think both of you are Disney Lorcana first game, if I remember? I know one of you is for sure, but I think it's both.
Yep, me too.
So about you guys, what's our number one card? Most we spent on a card.
You or me?
Yeah, you.
Go for it.
You
Okay. So I'm actually more of a collector than I am a player. So my husband and I, when we first decided to start playing Lorcana, we decided we wanted one of every card, both in foil and non-foil, to just like set aside and not touch. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna be really dedicated to getting my first chapter foil set. One of the last cards I needed was the foil Rapunzel, gifted with healing. I did not spend the money on this. My husband, for my birthday, spent $50 on a foil Rapunzel.
That's a steal.
The next day, after he bought it, prior to my birthday, so I didn't know this had happened yet.
Yeah.
We got first chapter packs like randomly at our LGS, and I pulled her.
Oh, well now you have two.
Yeah, now we have two. So I'm just waiting for the right moment to sell her, trade her, do something with her.
Yeah, so. I remember specifically foil Rapunzel was one of the first cards that I actually took out of the collection to sell, because there was a period of time where they actually hit triple digits, and I'm like, all right, I like shiny things, but I also like $100 bills.
Right.
So I actually do not own any. The only foil Rapunzel we now own is the Japanese one that we opened. So, but it felt like an okay trade. Melissa, collector of many things. What's our single most expensive card we purchased?
To be honest with you, I feel like I did a lot of trading in the beginning for cards and not a lot of buying.
Okay.
And then I really wanted to let it go, but I earned it.
Sure.
So I feel like it was probably a random enchanted that was in the $100 range, but it wasn't I need this, so I could not tell you which one it was.
All right, fair enough.
I was gonna say it must be nice that she just gets to win everything.
It's to win Elsa's. It's to win Let It Go.
What's your biggest competition? Logan from Maelstrom? Okay.
He messaged me the other day and he's like, "Where are you playing this weekend? Because I want to play." So it's on.
There you go.
Yeah, he's gonna go somewhere else.
There's only one event. He doesn't have a choice. He either shows up or he doesn't play.
Uh-oh.
Called out.
Trouble.
I was more interested in this. I don't think Melissa would spend $2,000 on a foil lady. For what it's worth, I gave her all her foil ladies. Okay.
He was talking about yen. That's
what?
It's Japanese yen, 2,000 yen.
Sure. for the set 7 Japanese cards that don't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm now fluent in Japanese since I'm going.
Proud of you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, our next topic is the newest addition to our calendar dates. For some people, not for me, because I have a local tournament happily this weekend. But we're going to talk about CCS's next 8K, which is June 14th and 15th. Prizes guaranteed and scalable. And this comes with the Lorcana Rising Stars Scholarship Tournament and a Lorcana Ladies Championship. So this event is, of course, the weekend event. We just kind of passed this, and they had a 13K and then a 3K on back-to-back days. And on this particular weekend, they've decided to add on the scholarship tournament and this ladies championship. And I felt like this was a perfect opportunity to bring Melissa on. And then Melissa says, hey, I've been talking to friends today. I got to bring someone else on. I'm like, all right, great, because that means I don't have to do as much talking. I'm going to let them talk about it. I would love to know.
It's me.
Yeah, exactly. I think they figured it out.
It was easy. We were talking anyway.
So I'd love to hear your guys' initial thoughts on this announcement for this ladies championship at CCS. We're gonna let Melissa kick it.
So I actually heard about this a few days ago because I saw it in Melee before it was formally announced. And at the time, they had the 8K that was in Melee. And then I saw a Sunday event and it said Lorcana Ladies and it said Rising Stars Tournament. And in my head, first gut reaction was, oh, this is cool. We have main event. And then we're not doing a Sunday event. We're doing targeted events to try to appeal to different audiences. And gut reaction was okay, I have to think more about this, but this could be cool. Now, when it was formally announced, as we can see on this flyer, there is a Sunday 1K. And as soon as I found that out and I saw the start time of this ladies event, my entire perspective has rotated. I'm sure Caroline probably feels similarly, so I want to give her a chance too. But I have lots of thoughts, but I'll let you go first.
Sure. So there's been a lot of talk about this in the community. And of course, with my particular position as one of the organizers for Love to Lore and the community admin for the Discord, that is a very particular space I am well suited to.
No.
Oh, no.
Do we lose her?
No.
She was so prepared
she'll be back.
to be here way early.
I'll help her. Let's see if I can move. All right. We'll catch her.
I know she's traveling for work, so the hotel Wi-Fi might have bounced her.
The hotel Wi-Fi got to 1018. They're like, no, put another quarter in the meter.
So, all right, I'll give my opinions, right? As someone this pertains to very much. So, this is very sexist, right? Yeah. Men aren't allowed as if we're not equals. Okay. I think this is ridiculous. I'm going to
counter you when you're done.
Wait, I think this is ridiculous. I think that this shouldn't be happening. And if anyone actually has these opinions, don't ever talk to me. I am fully expecting to see that on Twitter or Reddit or something. Never, ever approach me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The World Series of Poker has a ladies event.
Yeah.
Okay. Every year. Unfortunately, it is against whatever to say men can't do it, right? So what the World Series of Poker does is it's a $10,000 entry fee, $9,000 discount if you identify as female.
If you're female.
Yeah. So I think that it's great that this is coming to some capacity. And if it even hopefully they take people's feedback, and it would be nice if even Ravensburger could do something like this. I've been pushing for a kids league forever. But
I think the scholarship thing is A+ rate.
Yeah.
So I fully support you should give women a space where they feel comfortable playing. You should give kids a space where they feel comfortable playing. Dan, I don't know if you have the melees, but the Sunday women's tournament starts at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said take the feedback.
Right, like
right now it's not perfect.
Round 8. So like if I go down for the weekend, I have all intentions of playing in the Saturday event. You're now telling me that I can't play in a female event because I have to pick between potentially topping or like getting to top 16 or this other event? Like that's my first problem.
I got problems too, but I'm going to let you keep going for now.
My next problem is, let's say that I make top 16 or I don't make top 16, whatever the case may be.
Are we back?
Now, Caroline's back.
Are we sure? Are we sure? Let's let Melissa finish her train of thought, and then we're going to let you just have at it. All right? I promise. So Melissa, go ahead. Hit
you're
me
playing
with the
in the event. I play round 8. If there's round 9, I play round 9 because I'm still in contention. Maybe I make top 8. Maybe something happens, I bubble out, or I lose a round, whatever the case may be. Now I have missed my chance to play in this female-only event. Or let's say that I wasn't in a spot where like I'm X2. It doesn't make sense for me to play. So I say, hey, normally I would play in the 1K, which turns into a 2K, 3K, whatever the case is. That's guaranteed prizing. Now you're telling me that I can play in a female-only event that's non-guaranteed prizing and, like, prizes are going to scale based on, like, how many people show up? Like, that doesn't feel great as a competitive player. Like, I'm going because I want to play. I want competition. I don't want, like, I want to play for stakes. I don't just want to play if I'm traveling.
Yeah. I'm gonna just choose to speak last on this subject. I don't have anything good to say about it, unfortunately. But Caroline, please, you were so close to telling me some really, really good information.
Very passionate. Yeah.
And then you had to go and put a quarter in the Wi-Fi for the hotel. So I'm gonna give you.
It always happens like this, right? It's fine all during testing, and then I get on camera and something happens. Hopefully done with this soon. Anyhow, I feel particularly situated to talk about this because of my position in the community. And so the biggest question I have is, how was this event organized and decided upon? Yeah. Because if you actually involved women and other marginalized gender players, I seriously doubt that they would have come to this conclusion.
Yes.
That this was the right way to go. Because you're running the event at the same time as another highly competitive event. You're not guaranteeing the same prizing.
No, spoilers.
We're doing it live.
No.
Yeah, so I'm sure someone's gonna suggest it at some point, but why is this not just on Friday?
Why is it not Friday? Yeah.
There's a store very close to them running 1Ks now on the Fridays before CCSs.
Yeah.
Like, just shut those people out. Like, run your own event. Don't let other people make money off you. Yeah. Like, CCS is why people are traveling to Georgia. Yeah. And I know a lot of people that played in this CCS, or not a decent amount, went to the 1K as well on Friday.
Yeah.
Which I was unaware of.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a time and a place. If you want to give kids a safe space so that they can play against I don't want to say less competitive, because less competitive isn't the right word, but an environment where the kids don't feel pressured because they're playing against friendly, their own type of people. Like, put AJ into a tournament with a bunch of other people.
Not to put all AJ's business out there. I was willing to take him to CCS.
Right.
And he didn't feel comfortable since he hadn't been to another large tournament, and there was over 300 people. I wish there was something that Sploosh, they're closed on Fridays. They can unlock the doors. They own the place. So anyway, yeah. I wish there was an event.
Did we go to our phone? I think that's what we did.
Smart.
I think we switched to the phone. And I believe AJ can hang with the boys.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like, I mean, when I was 12, I was nervous about everything. Like people forget that because he is the prodigy, that he's 12.
But like I only bring it up because if you have a under 16 tournament, it gives him a space where he can say, I am the best, I want to win. But he doesn't have the pressure of potentially pairing into like Kurt Spice or Zan or just anybody who might intimidate him just because of who they are.
Yeah, name more terrible people.
I didn't.
I'm just kidding. I'm throwing you under the bus.
I know. But I think there's a lot of ways they could have done this, and it could have been very welcoming. And I just don't know what their intention was. Like, are you trying to get +1s who aren't playing in these events, or are you trying to just get people to play? Because now you're asking me to make a choice. You're asking Caroline to make a choice on where and who and what event you're going to. And like, if you're telling me that I don't even know what the number is of people who would play.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
All you, Caroline.
Not just that, but like there are so many other ways besides doing a segregated event that you could make the space more welcoming for women. Like let's start with that. Like let's make sure that there are accommodations in place for women to be safer in the space. Let's make sure that we are having a diverse tournament organizer staff and judging staff. Like, let's make sure that women have the ability to get a judge to come stand at their table when they have to go handle something with a kid, or like, let's find a way to offer child. And this is like stuff we talked about on the women's roundtable on Monday night with the Illuminateers, like that they could do in DLCs. Charlie's is running essentially stand-in DLCs right now.
Yeah.
And they are leading the pack in terms of local stores organizing events. If y'all want to be the leaders in the space and also push diversity in the community, these are the kinds of things that you need to be doing, not segregating events out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, you start to get into this sticky situation of, okay, well, who gets to decide who's eligible?
Sure.
Because we're going to be in Georgia. Who is a woman can get very fraught.
Sure.
In the South very quickly. I live in the South. Like this is something I've been dealing with for a long time, unfortunately. And like that is one reason that Love to Lore is not a community for women specifically. It's a specifically community for marginalized gender players, because it's not just women who have trouble, being seen as equals in the TCG. It's non-binary folks, it's genderqueer folks, it's trans folks. Like this could turn bad very quickly.
I'd argue it already has, but
yeah, for sure. But like, I think there's a. I'm not going to say that because I don't actually know what it is. I would say I think there's a way to turn it around, but I can't come up with like a concrete way to turn it around as it currently exists. I think the best thing that they could do at this point is to talk to folks in the community, like me, like Melissa, like
that's like the craziest thing, right? Because honestly, when Melissa sent me like the screenshot of the melee, I was like, I mean, I have no idea, right? Like, and my literal gut response was, hey, Katie, who's friend of the channel, I'm making fun of her all night with the tag, but like friend of Forbidden Mountain, Katie, I'm just like, hey, Katie just worked with them, maybe she knows something, reach out. Like,
and I asked her and she had no idea.
Yeah. So like, I mean, they just had Katie and Clara literally commentate for 2 days, and you know, a day later, you can.
So 20 Lore is who's responsible for Katie and Clara.
Sure.
Right. They reached out to me a couple events ago, like I don't remember if it was before or after Continentals, but it was around that time, and asked, well, because several of us have been vocal in the 20 Lore server about them not having very diverse casters for their events that they were covering. They were covering it in many languages, but no women.
Yeah.
All men.
Sure.
And so a couple of people had made some offhand comments, including myself, and Sir Ashtown reached out to me. He was like, hey, you're right. We do need more diversity. I was like, okay, great. Glad you recognize that.
Yeah.
He asked me for my recommendations. And so I sent him a couple. Katie was number one because she'd been killing it on ICO. And they went from there. They did their first event. It was a little bit hectic back and forth because it was kind of a last minute thing, but like they developed a really strong relationship with them. And Clara told me she's really been enjoying working with that team. So like very positive overall from my understanding. I reached out to Sir Ashtown and Rob about this event to try and get in touch with somebody from Charlie's and try and figure out what's going on with this. And they have pointed me in the direction of a contact email. So it's my understanding that 20 Lore is also not necessarily involved in the organizing piece of it.
I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they're hired to be a stream company, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike
none of this is at them. But like it is, you know, like their name is on it, you know, so that doesn't necessarily help. But yeah, so man, I think this is incredibly stupid. I think it is incredibly insulting. Actually, you know, like I cannot tell you how many times I have a conversation with Melissa and it literally starts like this. It's like, well, I want to say how I feel, but I'm going to be an asshole, right? Because like,
at least just twice a week.
It's just like, it's just a fact, because it's like, whenever you see something like this, I have like nothing other than going like, how is this not insulting? You know, like, how do I not respect you more? Like, that is like literally my instinct reaction to this. I'm just like, I mean, they had to have a conversation, and then
I can understand how it might be well intentioned, but the thing is, if you've not brought women into the room, if you've not spoken to people about their experiences, if it's not about opening that door for people who you know have felt left out, who's the space for?
That's exactly what I mean. Like, is it intended to be a +1 event? And like, I don't want to sound rude by saying that, but we all know that there's a lot of wives, girlfriends that are just there watching. Like, are they just trying to say you can play in something else that's not the side event?
Yeah.
Right. And
that's what it feels like to me. And like, I don't want to be a part of that. Like, if I'm taking a day off on Friday to travel and I'm spending a whole weekend with either like a train or flying or driving and then like an Airbnb or a hotel, I'm going because I want to succeed. And like, I need to put myself in the best position to play with the best players and to have a legitimate experience. And I'm just afraid that what they're doing is not going to give us that opportunity. I'm saying the generic us, like that opportunity.
I just think, and I know for a fact that, you know, most players, or honestly, most people are not like me. I sit down across, I don't like, the gender of my opponent is irrelevant. You know, like, it's not important. Like, we are all playing, we all paid the same amount to play in this tournament. We are all on the same exact level of player. So like, you know, outside of the kid thing where I'm like, okay, like, this is in all honesty, in some situations, you have to sign a waiver for your kid to play in a tournament and things like that. So like, this is very clearly different, right? They are different rules between children and adults. There should not be any level of rules for men and women in the trading card game space. Like, we're all there for the exact same experience. So when you announce a tournament like this, I think that there is that initial reaction of like, oh, okay, like, all right. And then you see the other and you're just like, wait a minute, like, why now? And I think when Melissa really brought in the home of the idea that there was also another tournament going on the same day that was guaranteed prizing, that was scalable, as we know. And it's like, okay. And I said to Melissa, I'm like, Melissa, let's be honest. All right. You were in a CCS room. There was 226 players in it. How many women were in the room? We said maybe 30. Maybe.
I think
right?
you could
I don't
get
even know.
a max of 30 people to play.
Right.
On a good
so
team.
Now what you're telling those 30 women is that on Sunday, if you want to, you can play in this like really small side event. If none of you make top cut or none of you are in contention, it's going to start at 10 a.m. and we're just going to pay to like whatever the entry ends up being. So I said, like, even if 20 people sign up, great. What is our top, like, what is our winning prize? Like $200? But like the 3K that got scaled to infinite is going to be like, $1,000. You're literally just telling your own players, oh, hey, here's like this really shitty side event that like I don't even know why you would want to play in. And that it just bothers me. It really does.
The other argument that I have seen is that it provides it has the potential to provide a dedicated space for women where they don't have to worry about guys being obnoxious or sweaty or whatever. And while I agree that that's valuable, I think it's also a flawed perception.
Yeah. Like, why not just like actually punish the asshole,
Bingo.
And also just encouraging the fact that like Mr. Burns can go be an asshole to somebody else.
Yeah. You're literally saying like, oh, well, you guys just go over there so this guy can just continue being an asshole. Like, that's actually what we're saying here.
Right. And the thing is, who's judging the event? Who's TOing the event? Are they also all women? Probably not. Like, does that safe space actually exist, or is it an illusion?
Yeah.
Can I just say, and Melissa can back this up, I will never lose to a woman in Disney Lorcana.
You lose like literally monthly.
You literally throw the deck at me at least once a month.
Oh, what I meant was I cannot beat this woman at Disney Lorcana. It's ridiculous.
Neither can Logan.
Melissa does not need to be put in another tournament.
Yeah, it very much would be like putting Luca or AJ in a kids division tournament. Like, it's just
Luca has openly said he does not want that for himself.
I understand that. Like, we're here to play. And I've talked about this with Dan when we've interviewed before. I've talked about it on other streams and like podcasts I've been on. Like, it took a long time for people to recognize me as another person and not just like the chick in the room. Like, I don't need to just be put in another corner now because of that.
No. Yeah, we have few enough women succeeding in the game as it is. We don't need to be segregated off in a corner. We need more of the top players welcoming us into their testing groups. We need more opportunities to be given for scholarships like this kids tournament. If I know CCS in the last one did some kind of like buy situation in the first couple of days. If they really want to increase women's representation at the top, do a lottery, give some of them a buy.
Right.
Like, that's then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that personally, I don't think that's good for your cause, so I hear you, but I it's one of those where that's not gonna help. That's not gonna get the respect that you guys want, right?
I don't necessarily think that's a solution, but like,
yeah,
it would make more sense in terms of moving toward your goal than creating an entirely separate event.
Yeah. I think it's stupid. Yeah, that one's frustrating. I'm just glad that, like when Melissa messaged me, I'm just like, oh man, I don't have anything nice to say. I don't know what I don't know what to do. It was one of those moments where I'm like, can I call you on the phone so I can get an actual vibe? Because text is bad, right? Like I get into a lot of trouble when it comes to text. So like it was really one of those, like, I gotta know that it's not just me and I'm not like just some so hearing it from you guys is great,
Well, really like Caroline and I were talking earlier today, and I even said to her, I was like, hey, I'm going on the TFM podcast tonight. Like, I want to make sure that as someone who's a bit more competitive than a lot of the other people in the Love to Lore Discord, that I'm not misrepresenting the situation. And like, as soon as I said something, there was conversation for 2 hours about it. Like at least 6 different people who I've never spoken to started speaking up and saying like, I talked to my mom about this morning. I talked to so-and-so, like, this is BS.
Yeah.
And it's not just in the women's only spaces too, right? In these marginalized spaces. I'm in a casual play Discord where there are a lot of women, but there are also a lot of guys too. A lot of content creators, lots of folks who also play competitively are in this Discord. Knive came in yesterday having seen this and did like a sanity check. He was like, is this good or is this bad? Actually, I wanted to ask.
Is this a flower?
I wanted to ask the women
group.
And I really appreciated him doing that and like coming to us, the women who actually like matter to him in the community.
Yeah,
because that's what you should do in situations like this.
Yeah, it was literally like I was out to dinner tonight and Melissa's like, yeah, I've been talking to Karen. I'm like, does she want to come on? Like, bring her on. Like, let's go. Like more the merrier for this topic. I'm all for it.
I as soon as she mentioned she was coming on tonight, I was like, I know it's last minute and I'm, super swamped at work right now and I'm in a hotel, but I'll come. Like, I'm here.
Like, it's important for perspective to be heard. Like, at the end of the day, the game's growing. If somebody's watching this who didn't feel comfortable saying it themselves, now they know that their opinion is valid.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Like, if me and Dick got on here and complained about it, it probably, like, honestly, it doesn't do anything,
Am I not good enough as a mostly straight white male?
False.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think that, putting people in here to give them, honestly, I would do this every week if it was that important, to really make that go home. And then I really do hope. I'm with you though. I'm going to be, I don't know what they can do to actually fix this. I think it's bad.
That's the challenge.
They need to just have someone on the, you don't have to be on the planning staff, but you have to know somebody who's involved in the game enough to say, can I run this by you? Like, Dan, you messaged the team about something yesterday, and you were just like, hey, I need everyone's pulse check on this.
Right.
Whoever
it was like crunchy or creamy peanut butter. I could see her dying off.
Yeah.
I know. All you had to do was ask somebody and say, is there a female I can run this by?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't know how small the staff is. I don't know all the information. Like, I just think that, man, this probably does look like this is a great PR move. This is a great let's go get them. Man, I think that it's gonna blow up in their faces like it already has. Yeah.
So I am working on a message to the organizers, to the shop. Some of my fellow organizers in Love to Lore are pitching in, so we can sort of get the language together that we feel is both. We want to offer perspective, but we also want to make sure that we're being solution focused.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think I'm struggling with right now is how do we help? because
Yeah.
I see the impetus, and I say, okay, you know, I want to believe that this is in good faith.
Yeah.
And if you want to help, like, let me get on board. Bring somebody in who is involved in this kind of work in the community, and let's actually like make an impact. But I'm struggling with like how within the existing format that they've settled on that can work.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the very least you have to go to a guaranteed prize. Like you just got to put a number on it and say, hey, this is a thing. Like you just have to commit. That would be like solution number one. And like in my humble opinion, I don't think it can be less than what is matching the other option. You know, I think it's got to be a 1K. Like at the very least, you started as that. And hey, if you guys get 80 women to show up to that and you make it a 3K, I will be praising it to the heavens. But at this current juncture, I might honestly be shocked if they get 30. By the way, this is all done, you know, so.
Well, and the other piece of that is, you know, in terms of attendance, like a lot of those +1s are taking care of kids.
Yeah.
And if it's going on at the same time as another event where, you know, the guy is playing, like, who's taking care of the kid?
Mom. Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that's going to be mom.
Yeah, I mean,
and if it's dad, that's fine too. But it's like you can't have both caretakers out of commission,
right?
To be the caretaker.
Yeah. So if you're gonna hold both events, which is also a major part of the problem, which we've already discussed.
Yeah.
You gotta have some other solution in place if you really expect to get any kind of turnout.
And like start it at the same time you're starting the other side events. Like, don't just tell me I don't even have a chance to top cut.
Right.
Yeah.
And not just me. Like, there's other females who are in contention.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I'm pretty confident I watched basically every round of it this weekend, literally aside from the top 4 and the finals. And I would love for someone to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know if there was a woman on the entire day. Like, was there one? Okay.
First round.
So there was one. First round, one. So yeah. And for what it's worth, like that can also be dampered because we're doing a community player, and you know you're only going to get like one person for 9 rounds on average. So like you're kind of like eliminating a number, right? Like literally right by default because you're taking away one of the 4 people. But yeah, even something like that, like even if you just said like, hey, you know, on Sunday, we're just going to do this thing where, you know, we're going to give the opportunity for like women to play on camera, you know, like just even something like that. If that's really what you were trying to do and you're trying to put a spotlight on a portion of the community and you're like, maybe even if you're trying to spotlight one of their local, you know, females there or something like that, like whatever they want to do, I just think there was probably better ways to have that done than to kind of have like all this competing things going on, you know, but then again, this is why we have conversation, right? Like I say this all the time. I feel like we always get in trouble more than anyone because we're willing to have these conversations that no one else wants to talk about. But if you don't have a conversation, you can't actually cause change. And this is one of those where I literally asked Melissa on Tuesday. I'm like, hey, you gotta come on Thursday because we gotta talk about this.
So a friend of mine. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I appreciate the last minute ad to let me come on, and I sort of invited myself.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. Like
you're welcome here.
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Melissa.
I was gonna say a friend of mine is they're like in between mod and admin on the Lore20 Discord. Sure. And so like when this was first coming out, I was talking to him about just because, like I said, I didn't know that there was a 1K. I thought that like this was the Sunday event, which gives it a very different perspective.
It puts a little more prestige on it. I agree.
Yeah, right. And I had said to him, I was like, hey, is there anything you can tell me about it? And he's like, oh, like, let me ask Sir Ashton and Rob and like see what I can find out. And the response was basically like pricing is going to depend on how many people come in, and also like we're going to try and feature them after the top cut of the other tournament.
Sure.
So like I can see, like you were saying, maybe there's a PR perspective of, hey, we want to showcase this.
Yeah.
But it just feels very much as an afterthought. And
yeah.
Like Caroline's been saying, there's a lot of ways that it could not be an afterthought and be a collaboration.
Right. It's also like notable that they didn't go to the Sunday event this time, you know? Like when the finals ended, the stream ended. Right. So it's not even like they gave themselves a time slot to continue. Like they said, nope, that's it. That's the show. So if the main event goes till 5-6 o'clock again, like, are you guys even going to have the opportunity, or is that tournament even still going to be playing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what are we doing then?
Right.
I just feel like this was like just not thought out at all. It was just like, hey, let's make a banner for it and send it, and that is not the way to do things.
Especially in a time when people are itching for tournaments and like itching for reasons to travel and go to events.
Yeah, it would be one thing if like you were creating a banner event specifically for women and that's all the event was, or like specifically for marginalized gender players. Like,
sure,
great, do it, send it. Like, make sure that you're including those people in your organization. But like, if that's what you want your banner event to be, by all means, I'm here for that. Let's get some more of those people featured in the community and elevate them, raise their names up, get them some recognition because they deserve it. Because there are lots of other people playing at the same caliber as Melissa that y'all don't know their names because
I mean, it's a fact. There's no denying that. I'll flip first up. There's no denying that truth. Like, I am blessed because I have Melissa here, right? Because like at the end of the day, like the work that she has done over the last year, I've literally been able to witness that. And I'm sure there are 10s and 20s and 30s of other Melissas out there, but we have no idea.
Like, not to go all the way back, but like Dan, almost a year ago, you did the interview like of me and like where I was in Lorcana. And like when we went to Atlanta, the amount of people who just came up to me and like stopped me and were like, "Oh my God, I know who you are." I didn't know how to react. Because I was not expecting anybody there aside from the people I traveled with to know who I was. And there was at least 4 or 5 who said like, "I saw your interview. I want to be you. Like, I can't believe you're here and I get to talk to you."
I ironically, there's one other woman that I talk to very often, and she's down actually like kind of in Dick's area, and she's another one that like I spent Gen Con with her. We talk with every DLC. Every once in a while we'll DM and like we'll just chat the game and stuff like that. But like literally, like aside from that, as a person that covers the game pretty much like unprofessionally, like I would be remiss to say that like I could name like 10 women. I don't think I could. I could probably name 5 or 6. I don't know that I could name 10. That sucks. Straight up, that sucks.
Dan, I have a whole team that's 13 people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, like that's what I'm saying. I'm listen, if I am anything, I'm honest to a fault. Like I just, that's truthful. Like it sucks.
No, and that's the thing, right? It's like you have these gaps of like there's so many reasons why we're not seeing that. They're not getting the coverage, they're not getting the space in the community and the respect in the community. They're also not getting invited to these, top conversations, these testing groups, these teams, which is why we have our own team in the first place, is to try and pull some of this TCG knowledge that exists in our community that they're not getting invited to elsewhere. But like teams that can pool resources and, have Airbnbs together and drive together and, take a van like SSG did. Like we don't necessarily have that luxury as a team because we're so spread out. Like we have folks in the UK and we have folks in Colorado and California and all over the place, right? Like, so we don't have that ability necessarily, but we at least can test with each other. So we're we're starting small. We're doing the best we can, but like we also are only one group of people, and not every. We should not be responsible for elevating everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone should be responsible for elevating the people around them.
Agreed. Very hard to agree. Give us the deets. Where do people find Love the Lore?
Discord, Instagram, sometimes Twitter. We're talking about getting off that platform because it's a hot mess.
I hate that. I literally only went there today because Melissa told me Katie did something that I could make fun of her for. That's it. It's the only reason I was on Twitter today. Like, there was, I didn't even go back. Like, I wanted to make fun of Katie for a minute. That was it.
You keep mischaracterizing Katie. She does not like the Forbidden Mountain. She likes the Friendship Mountain.
Yeah,
yeah. So,
but yeah, that's the only reason I was on Twitter today, was to make fun of Katie. Other than that, I got nothing. Like, it's no reason to be there. Just don't.
But Discord is primarily, and again, this is a community that is specifically for marginalized gender players. We appreciate support on our socials, and whenever we pop up in competitions or on streams like this. But our Discord space we do reserve just for marginalized gender.
I don't think Carolyn can actually see, but this how can we boost them? Right? That's
following on socials.
No.
Oh, we lost her.
Amplifying our messages.
You were gone. Sorry.
Pop in, pop out. Go again.
We're back. Lots of our folks are involved in content, so amplifying their content. We have Enchanted Kim, we have myself, we have
I love him.
Illuma Queer Lens, our team captain. She's a streamer. Clara is involved in the community. Katie's involved in the community. Like,
all right. The good news is
support the women and the marginalized gender players in the community. That's basically the answer. Is like hang out in their stream.
She just named every single person that I actually do know for sure, which means I know more than I said earlier. So I already feel better about myself.
Look at winner.
Natalie's in there.
Natalie, yeah.
Natalie's there.
I actually had a very fun conversation with Natalie today.
Rebecca's in there, just saying. It's also Rebecca's birthday. Happy birthday, Rebecca.
It's Rebecca's birthday. Happy birthday, Rebecca.
It's still early on the West Coast, but yeah, happy birthday, Rebecca.
Anybody that you see who is not a man in the community, support their content, follow them on social.
I think my wife is also in there, if I remember.
Kylie is in there. She posted her dots recently.
There you go. Okay. Fair enough.
That's actually how I found her, is because she was in my server, and I was like peppering her with questions about your team.
Oh man,
you're like, how terrible are they? Before I
it was hey, is this person on your team? I think they are, but I can't confirm.
Yeah.
It's hard when there's 47 members.
Yeah. We're much smaller now, so
yes,
we got rid of some of the weight.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm half the weight, but. I want to say I appreciate you coming on here with me, putting your reputation on the line with all the disgusting things I say. It's very scary going on a live stream with Big Durns. I know.
Big Durns kept it pretty PG.
Yeah, I do appreciate you coming on. I don't appreciate you like hating the hotel Wi-Fi so much that you get kicked off like every 45 seconds.
Man, it's bad. And this isn't even my usual hotel. Like, I have a hotel that I've stayed in consistently for like the last several months. And this week they were more expensive for whatever reason, so I had to switch. Terrible decision. I should have just paid the extra $100.
Yeah. You should have just booked in advance knowing you're going to be there and then locked in that price.
Happens.
That's the way you do it. All right, you gotta lock it in. You should have just honestly, for the amount of time you've been there, you should have just booked like an extended stay and just be like, I'm just gonna live here for a month.
That's what I thought about for a little while, but like I've been back and forth so much.
Yeah, but it's still, I bet you the month on extended stay is probably still cheaper, if I'm being honest. Like, even if you're not there. Oh, she's gone again.
It's like we never had her.
Oh, wait, she's back.
This is a fun game. In reality, she's
way better than trivia, because I can't win at that.
If we gave her more notice, we could have had her do trivia.
No, I didn't want to do that. That's a bad idea. I can go on the Illuminateers and be made fun of for not knowing things. I can't, like, we're not doing it here.
You would have been so good at the game they
On
played
your
on
own
Monday,
show.
I think.
Oh, I missed it. I was sleeping.
It was a good game.
All right. But yeah, we're going to move. Oh, I lost. Did we get that? I didn't get that.
The game was card facts. So she
Oh.
like basically told us a card, and you had to go in a circle and say one fact about the card. And as soon as you didn't know a fact, you were eliminated.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Much better for competitive players.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way better. Yeah.
Which is why you would have liked it.
Then, like, what is this character in this movie that appears for 45 seconds?
But we love Caroline. She crushed it.
I will say, shout out to Artifact real quick, who didn't know who Thomas O'Malley was. And I said to my wife today, I'm like, I felt so good because I was listening to this podcast and, like, I knew who Thomas O'Malley was because I asked you, like, 3 weeks ago. I felt great about it. It was so great.
That's hysterical.
But we are going to move on to our final segment here. And yeah, thank you guys for coming on. Melissa, you guys can hang if you want to. But, like, I'm giving you an out right now to leave before I start about ranting about something else.
I'm going to hang because I think I know what's coming.
She's talking, but I don't hear words.
I think she's saying goodbye before her Wi-Fi spazzes.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
She's like, I don't want to be bad for my brand. I'm leaving you fools.
I'm going to chill.
Dan, do we have a podcast?
Yeah, so we do have a podcast. It is Into the Unknown. It is on Spotify and on YouTube Music. There's also a new one that started recently, which is The Morning Climb, which is what I've been doing. Live streams been turning into those, which are also on Spotify. And I believe they're also featured on YouTube Music, but maybe not yet. But yeah, so we are on Spotify. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere. Yeah.
I'm a SoundCloud rapper.
Dick, how you feeling, buddy?
I don't know. Why?
I'm just asking. All right, so I'm going to go to a tweet real quick. And I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time on this because I don't even think it's necessary in this moment. But our friend Wochuk put out a tweet. He said, the latest Zancast is only 4 hours old, and already the comment section makes me think this game is doomed. Seriously, where the hell is Ravensburger? You can't just disappear for months while everything turns to shit and expect people to be angry because Jafar is coming. First and foremost, thank you very much, Wochuk, for this tweet. I think it's 100% A+, and I'm very grateful that it exists. And, you know, I think that CCS this weekend, in some cases, had nearly 1,000 viewers between both channels that were premiering it. I think that it might have even done, like, potentially better numbers than the DLC Melbourne was, just based on the timing of it. And we walked away from DLC Melbourne, we walked away from NACC, and now we're walking away from CCS. And you know what? The winners, while Ed was pretty much celebrated, there was still a lot of controversy around it. While DKP was celebrated, there was a lot of controversy around it. And why Hector was, like, celebrated, there was a lot of controversy around it. How many more events are we going to have that we're going to leave the event feeling like, man, this is getting worse? Anyone else getting this?
All of them. Because people care more about drama than actual winning. Which, like I said, when Hector was here, I was very glad that Hector was here. Like, I know if I won, and, like, no offense to the other 3 people that chopped top 4 day 2. I know Kendall personally. I don't know if I know anyone else personally, especially because, like, melee names, I just don't know at all.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like, it sucks. Like, if I won one of these tournaments, that was, like, a huge thing. When I was in the room, I heard many times, wow, this is like Nationals 2. Like, it was huge. Like, world-class cards, people were there. Mm-hmm. SSG was there. I was there. Yeah. So it should be a huge event. It should be a launching point for people's careers, right? It was like, I think it was the first time I ever heard of Zan, for instance.
Yeah. I mean, I interviewed Zan after he won the first 8K.
Yeah.
That was the first time I met Zan. It was like a little more than a year ago at this point.
It's unfortunate for CCS themselves because like they hired the judging staff. They weren't involved with any sort of judge anything. And they're trying to run a successful business, and then there's people that don't want to come to any of them because of other things that are out of their control. Yeah. So it just sucks for everyone.
Yeah.
And I just feel bad for everyone that's wrapped up in all the drama, but at the same time, people love drama. Someone even commented, have you guys talked about any drama yet? Yeah, popcorn emoji.
Yeah. No,
it's just a fact.
I hope you're still here.
And you know what? Like, I watch Pleasant Kenobi sometimes when he makes magic drama videos. Yeah. I'm part of the problem.
Yeah.
It's just, that's just how it is. Many Kudos has made his entire YouTube channel, like 2 million plus subs, whatever, on just the drama from different trading card games and video games in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
So it sells.
Yeah. Melissa, before I continue, you have anything to add there?
It's just such a shame that the winners get shadowed, basically. Like, they don't necessarily get the full spotlight that they should deserve. Like, it was great that Hector jumped on. I think he said he came from the Freedom Gaming podcast. So, like, amongst his friend group and people who know him, they want to make sure that he's getting his time, because, like, the larger community is not embracing that or asking what his deck list was. They're just saying, what happened with so-and-so? This is all I hear about. And it's
like I particularly made it a point to not talk about this until everyone was gone. It's just like, man.
Also, I can't believe you featured Wochuk. Come on, guy's an absolute troll. He knows nothing.
I think Wochuk has had many good tweets this week.
How dare you? How dare you?
Listen, I go on Twitter once a day, guys, and I always see this tweet. I'm just saying, it must be good. It must be good.
Me and Chuck are fighting for the same space in this community, and we take up a lot of space. Okay, so it's a big fight. You ever see Godzilla take on King Kong?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what's happening with me and Chuck.
Maybe you can duke it out within the next weekend.
Who's the king of the trolls? Okay, but no, he's a smart guy. I'm just kidding. He's a good guy.
Jorge wants to know what the drama is. If it's about your Cheesecake Factory opinions.
No, that's terrible.
Cheesecake Factory is trash.
Thank you. Can I high five over the internet?
I backed you up. I said there was no way Dan was eating Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot that was done wrong this week. I think that there was a lot that was done wrong at the tournament. I think that every single time we see these, and the more feature matches we get, if we're being honest, the more we see problems. And while I do not necessarily agree with, to the extent of like how one player is being chastised for a single play, I think that the conversation has to continue happening, because the more times this happens and the more times we don't talk about it and the more times it doesn't get brought up, it's literally the same conversation we just had 10 minutes ago about another subject. It's just like, if we don't talk about it, people are going to just continue to get away with literally everything. And while I love the idea that we are, we want to be friendly to new players that actually make mistakes, I completely get it. The problem with that is that players that are not new, that are taking advantage of players like those new players every single round in every single tournament, are just getting away with it because the majority of the player base doesn't know any better. So yes, it sucks for someone to come on and make a mistake or not make a mistake, whichever one you want to lean today, doesn't really matter. The core fundamental problem of it is It's going to keep happening until the rules are changed. It's going to keep happening until Ravensburger actually steps in and changes things, makes it easier for judges to make the right decisions or make better decisions, right? Like those are kind of the portion of the problems. And it's like it is without a doubt one of those problems that we cannot continue to come away from these events and the majority of the conversation about the event is the potential cheating that's going on in tournaments.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After researching more, it gotta sound like a shill. I feel bad for Ravensburger, and I think that a lot of this comes down to the Wizards of the Coast lawsuit from years ago, because I know now, like, even Wizards of the Coast doesn't keep track of cheaters. It is up to the tournament organizer at this point. It was on MTG Goldfish, a great video.
It was a great video.
The old Mike Long. I just had my cards right on my lap.
I mean, it was
while I'm on camera.
It was such a good video. It is frustrating to watch, but yeah.
Like, if I'm in charge of Ravensburger, I'm like, at this point, trying to see if I have the budget to hire a third party that is going to keep track of all this stuff and run the actual judge program. And it sucks for Ravensburger. It sucks for the players. It sucks for everyone. But I at this point, I can only blame these judges that wanted to be classified as full-time employees when they get paid $1. For it's insane. I mean, I know the lawsuit got thrown out, but it's not like you want to be in the headlines that you're getting sued. It's just a bad situation.
I'm tired of seeing this. You're in another city, another state, another country. It's just the same story after all these events, that these things they're not getting better. They're actually probably only getting worse. And it's just starting to feel really poor. Like it's one of those where I think that it's going to turn away players. Like if players honestly think that they are just at a disadvantage by not cheating, that is like the worst position that we could ever be in as card game players. Like it's one of those where, like, I guarantee you people watch this weekend. And honestly, I can even confirm it on Twitter. Like I can go and I can see comments. People are like, I'm never going back to CCS. Like I'm not even going to go back.
Which sucks.
Yeah. Like it does suck. Like where else are you going to compete for over $10,000 in product right now, or in prizes right now? Like it doesn't really exist. So like the idea that players are seeing this on display and they're making those choices going, I don't like what it looks like. I don't like the vibes. I don't like how it feels. I'm not going to go play in their tournaments. Like that sucks. And it really comes down to, we really need to redetermine some of these rules. They're just way too lenient. They're way too kind to the new player atmosphere. And in all honesty, if I'm being completely honest, we learn by punishment. Like that's how we're taught our entire lives. Like if you make a mistake, that sucks. But if you just get nothing for it ever, then new players will never get better at the game. They're never going to learn to be better at the game. You know, if the moment someone draws an extra card when they're not supposed to and they get a game loss, guess what? The next time they actually play a whole new world, they're not going to just fan out 8 cards and hope that that it's 7. They're going to count 7 cards off the top of their deck. We're not going to make that mistake again. So like if there was actually more, then there would be less of this anyway, because the new players would learn better. They would understand like, oh, I'm not allowed to make that mistake. I need to be more aware of what's going on. And then the cheaters who are literally taking advantage of it at every given turn are like, now they're like, oh crap, like I can't actually risk getting this many game losses. Like I can risk getting 3 warnings. like whatever. What is a warning? I mean, it's a joke. I can't risk just getting a game loss. So that's all I'm at. I'm really begging. I'm just begging for like just to be less lenient. It's just too much.
I went and looked at the Magic rules, and it was the first thing that came up on Google. So I'm assuming it's the most up to date. It was last updated in 2024, and it's the same exact ruling in Magic, drawing an extra card, as it is in Lorcana. It's just a warning. Yeah. So, but I don't know what the answer is. I know that like I think there needs to be another level above competitive.
Yeah.
In the rules itself. And there was for Magic when I played. Like and it's up to the TO to determine what level your tournament is, right? So if you have $12,000 cash on the line, you could consider a professional tournament.
Sure.
And you could be, yes, you're absolutely not making mistakes. You could even say, like, after round whatever, it's a professional tournament. Like, that's how Grand Prix work. Day 1 competitive, day 2 professional.
Yeah.
It's funny that AJ mentioned this because I was waiting for you to finish talking before he even wrote this. I was going to say, if you think people aren't cheating for 2 booster packs at your locals, you're also wrong. Like, how often do we see, like, it doesn't make the news when, like, some kid steals a TV and gets caught, but it always makes the news when, like, a doctor, like, there was a doctor cutting off candy bar UPCs, taping them to Lego sets, and going to self-checkout in Walmart. Like, there is no rhyme or reason to theft, and cheating is theft.
Yeah.
There, like, it will happen at all levels completely. And it sucks. I think the only way you're ever going to get rid of cheating is to have a digital only game. And even then, people figure out ways to cheat. So
solvers.
Yeah, it's just like
literally poker's being ruined by solvers now, you know, like
yeah, well, even like, you know, if you had you know, you have ghosting.
Yep.
You have multi-account queuing.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Like, there's so many things that people are doing. There have been websites that people have hacked into and saw the script.
Yep.
And could see their opponent's entire hand. You know, so it's just like, there's, at the end of the day, the people that are trash are gonna keep being trash, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's only gonna hurt idiots like me, who, like, when I draw off Whole New World, just grab 7 cards, and then if I have to get a warning because I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Then
I think it also makes people who might now just be finding out about the game or want to try and get into it feel a lot less comfortable. If they like you said, the internet today was the last few days has been way more full of drama than it has been news or about tournaments coming up or other stuff.
We don't have too much to talk about right now.
No, I know,
so it doesn't help, but yeah.
But it's if I was to Google something or like hop on Blue Sky or X or any of these places, the first thing you're going to find if you type in Lorcana is drama.
Yeah.
And that might not be a welcoming environment to somebody newer.
No.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not going to want to get someone like AJ going out.
Yeah.
Without a chaperone, at least, to like make sure everything's cool. He had a problem at a set championships, and his opponent was basically just like, you're a kid, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And he said to his dad, and he said to me, like, the expression on his face said everything. He's just like, I promise you I was right.
Yeah.
I promise you I did what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Ben and I I think it was the Atlanta side events of the DLC. It was either Atlanta or Chicago. No, it must have been Atlanta because he was in day 2 of Chicago. And he got paired in either draft or sealed into a girl, like a child. And there was some discrepancy about what Great Stone Dragon did and how you could or couldn't use it.
Okay.
And the girl was like, I want to understand this, but I don't want to call a judge.
Sure.
So Ben calls for the judge. Of course, it happens to be right at the time me and my opponent finish our game.
Sure.
And little do we find out that my opponent was the father of this daughter, who starts freaking out when he sees that a grown adult is calling on his daughter. And they explain the situation, and the daughter goes, no, like, I wanted the judge to be called, but I was uncomfortable. And like, it just puts you in these awkward situations. Like, I understand why AJ felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah. One thing I will say, and this is for anyone that feels uncomfortable, that most people probably don't know, you can ask for seating to where you never leave. That the kid at CCS had permanent seating.
Stay tuned for a podcast coming out next week, guys. Whole conversation about this, I promise.
Oh, okay.
I got you guys next week, I promise.
Like,
was it like L-Mans? Is that who you're talking about? Or Rocket, whatever, had permanent seating at CCS?
No, it was a really young kid.
Gotcha.
It was the one that was excited to meet me. And I'm assuming he was playing because he was at like table 60 or whatever, and it went all the way to table 150, and he was there all day. And his mom was next to him. Mm-hmm. I wasn't doing good enough to sit at table 60, so I didn't see him play. Yeah. But I'm assuming that was just his permanent seating, and it was very close to the judge station. It might seem weird for two people to be like, hey, we want permanent seating right next to each other, right? Especially if one is not a child. But, like, they could look in your Melee history and stuff like that. Like, you know, especially if they sit you both on the same side of the table. Like, if I wanted to bring my wife who'd never played in a tournament before, hey, I just want to make sure that she doesn't mess up. You know? Yeah. It is possible. And then it would be nice if some events were, like, Star State Games always has enough judges that I can be like, hey, can you watch my match? And they will have someone. Not every tournament has that luxury.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very, very fair. But yeah, I don't know. Moral of the story is I wish people were less shitty, but, you know, can't all have what we want, right? But we will move into the final subjects here as we went long the night, guys. I'm very sorry. We had lots to talk about, but I if we don't do it this week, we're gonna forget about it. So we're gonna do our best, and we're gonna move quickly and fairly through these. So my question is based on a new player growth. How do you propose a player to grow and compete at a high level? Like, I'm going to my first tournament, bigger than a set champs, and I'm a little nervous potentially to play against some big names like Zan. Obviously, this came from last week. We didn't do a podcast last week. We didn't have it. But, you know, the good news is that I have Melissa here, and I don't think of any better way to answer the question than to give it to Melissa. So it's perfect.
Yeah, it's for a scrub.
Rude. You just are waiting to throw a deck at me on Friday. It's going to happen next week.
That's true. I'm bringing extra cards that I don't care about because I always lose cards when I throw my deck at Melissa.
Facts. No, but in all seriousness, I think there's two things. The first is you can't be nervous going into this. And, like, I fall into this trap. Like, Dan and Victor have seen me fall into this trap in Atlanta in big tournaments where I get in my own head. And, like, getting in your own head makes you your biggest enemy. So you have to go into it saying, I belong here. I can win. I want to play. And it doesn't matter if it's Dan, if it's Victor, if it's someone you do or don't know. You're playing the same game. Like, these guys have said to me plenty of times, you're sitting at a table playing cards. So all you have to do is focus on the cards in front of you and just ignore everything else that's around you.
Last I checked, we're in the same room.
Yeah.
Random. Sorry. Dude, I looked into the flights to Wisconsin. It was insane.
No, yeah. It was
more expensive.
They were too expensive.
Yeah. It was more expensive than my flight to Seattle.
Yeah, I made the joke about saying, like, oh, there was nothing to see in Wisconsin, but the real truth is that it's no different than flying to Indianapolis in August. Like, it is outrageous. Like, because there's no good airlines that go to Wisconsin. Like,
otherwise,
so, yeah,
I'd love
as
to
much as I would love to go out and hang out, it's just like it's not realistic. Is that true?
Anyway, sorry. Like my flight to Florida is like $100.
Yeah, exactly. $110 round trip to Miami. Just, you know, it doesn't really contend. So our next question here, as a competitor and content creator, I think this means me. Do you ever?
You're not full time.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not a content creator full time.
Can't get burnt out if you're not full time. All right, hold on. That was good. So as a competitor and content creator, do you ever feel burnout? Not that you hate the game, but you lose passion and just feel like it's not a priority. How would you deal with that feeling? Do you stop playing for a bit? Try playing a new deck, etc. All right. So this is a great question because I know I can just say, like, I've recently went through it. NACC, I probably played more in December and January than any other, like at any other time in the year, I would say, because like that was like I was off from work, so basically all my free time went towards playing the game, it went towards getting better, it went towards preparing myself for the LCQ, and you know I was all in. You know, I put like basically was all in. You know, and obviously I died in round 3. We didn't make it, but I could say that I went to tournaments during that month that I never would normally go to just to play cards, just to be in a room, just to have a conversation, because I wanted to say I gave it my very best if I'm going to go to NACC and play an LCQ. And it ended. And ironically, I took it better than I thought it was, because I remember the laugh of everyone thought I left the room when I lost in round 3. And I actually just ran across the room to play in my sealed event.
Like, hey man, you gotta win a booster pack.
Yeah, I did. I won 3 of them actually. So that was it. 3-0 event, 3 booster packs. No, but when we were done, you know, like Sunday, I showed up Sunday, and I didn't want to play Sunday. I was like, all right, I got, you know, I was here for 2 days. We're done. We don't need to play anymore. But you know, we did Disney for 2 days, which was great. That was a fun experience with the team. And then I came home, and you know, I think I made that first video, and I think I just like took 2 weeks off. You know, I think that like me and Dick came on here Thursday nights. We had fun, we had a conversation and stuff like that, but you know, I don't think I made any real content like really in that time. I think I even made the set champs video like maybe the night before set champs or something like that. So very unlike me, and like how I attack content and things like that. But it is one of those, like, you know what? I love this game. I honestly think that I have put more time and effort into this game than any other content creator out there. I truly believe that. And if I'm okay saying, you know what, I don't need to make content for 2 weeks, then that like it just kind of proves to anybody like you're allowed to get burnt out, guys. Like you're allowed to take that opportunity. So it is one of those, like if you got to take a break, the game is always here. It's not going anywhere. As much as we, you know, complain that we don't know when Worlds is, we don't know when DLCs are, like I'm still going to Miami next weekend. I'm hopeful that on Tuesday I get to do a really cool thing and announce something really awesome that I'm doing this year and that someone else in this room is doing this year. But we're not ready to announce that yet. But like, I love this game, and if I got to take a break, I'm gonna take a break. If you love this game, you got to take a break. Take a break. You know, super simple and easy answer. All right, so Charlie here. Actually, gotta make this full screen because this was hard to read. Question for the podcast tomorrow. As it looks like you're going to talk about the cheating issue, I've accidentally drawn a card before and called a judge on myself. The funny thing was my brain talked me into it. I've so often joked that Julieta is a fake Rapunzel, and my brain in one set championship somehow convinced me to draw 2 cards instead of just 1, like Rapunzel can. Realized immediately, called the judge. I know my opponent didn't want me to lose. We laughed afterwards about it, but we needed to correct the board state. I received a warning. I was sorted. We moved on. I hated the feeling. I felt so bad. I'm not sure about Melissa, but I know for sure that myself and Dick have absolutely called judge on ourselves. I actually scared my opponent one time. I can't remember. I don't remember if it was Vegas or Seattle, but like I literally raised my hand, called judge, and he's like, "Oh my god, what did I do?" And I'm like, "No, I did something." So
I called judge at the encounter, and I felt really uncomfortable because the 2 of you were basically judges. Sure. And I was like, "Great, I'm wearing TFM attire, and I need to call a judge to handle this situation, and the person coming over is wearing TFM attire."
Yeah. That's not going to happen anymore. But
that's fine. My point is like it was super uncomfortable for me to do it because of who was going to make the decision, and like I didn't want it to be swayed. But I knew a judge needed to declare the right answer versus the people around us declare the right answer.
Yeah, you're banned from the encounter, so it's not gonna happen anymore.
Sure. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, personally, I think that if you make a mistake, it is way better for you to correct it than for your opponent to correct it. I think that a lot of the problem from this weekend that has been, you know, talked about on many different platforms at this point was mostly blown out of proportion because the opponent had to call a judge instead of the player that made the mistake. So If you make a mistake, again, the rules are very kind. You're probably not going to get in any real trouble. So like, just call a judge on yourself.
Yeah, and you do have to get a warning because then you don't just draw a card randomly, just have your hand shuffled back in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
Just a fun question this week. What are Disney movies / media you really want to see? What characters, items, songs, etc. do you want? Mine is really simple. I've been saying it for 2 years now. I want to sing Into the Unknown. Please let me do it. That's all I care about.
I'll take I just watched this with my kids, so I'll take Hi Ho because I guarantee you everyone will have me sign that card.
Yeah, that checks out.
Well, Melissa already got Lady, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. I want Lady's puppies now. The babies.
The babies. All right.
What? She has kids?
There's triplets.
No one's watched this movie. It's like 45 years old.
There's 3 puppies: Annette, Colette, and Danielle, and then there's Scamp.
I can't believe you know these names.
Scamp. Oh yeah.
I mean, I can believe it, but I can't believe it.
I've never watched the movie because I was poor, but I have sold the DVD since I'm in North Carolina where you can't get internet. Shout out to AJ.
Yeah. Pack rush or draft? Which event would you prefer to see at a set release?
If it's pack rush, I'll just go home.
I want draft. I want to play for something, not just like the one pack.
I mean, I don't like either of these options. Just give me 6 packs, let me build a deck, and move on with life.
I'd rather draft. I'd rather draft than seal.
I don't want to rather draft because I think drafting with players that don't know how to draft takes way too long, and I don't feel like sitting there. I already, for me as a player that can build a 40-card deck, very simple because I just removed 25 bad cards on average. I really dislike the idea that I had we get like, I think, where were we? Somewhere where we were, they said that it was an hour time limit to build your deck. And I'm like, oh, no, please don't. Please don't do that. Like, that's so bad.
It was NAC.
Can I go get dinner?
I protested that at a store, and the owner was like, well, not everyone's good and famous like you.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't have to be good or famous. It's 8 cards. Like we drafted.
Yeah.
The reason I prefer draft over sealed is because I can't complain when my deck is bad because I pick the cards.
In most cases, if I'm playing sealed, it's probably at a very low EV tournament that I'm just there to get new cards. So like, I'd rather just like get 6 pants ahead of me. I'm just not going to care.
We're doing draft weekly.
Good for you. Store. I hope you're the best. TFM Kylie would like to know Super Goof or Random Roster Racer. And for those of you that do not know, that is the Vanellope Von Sweets, which is the Ruby character with Rush and Evasive.
Yeah, but what do you mean? Would you rather? Would I rather what? Would I rather have a dog or like hang out with a small child? I'm hanging out with the dog. Like, would I rather put them in my deck? No, I would not rather either of them. There's no context here. Would I rather open one that's enchanted? Super Goof. Would I rather lose to one? Racer. Like, there's so many things.
Would I rather one be played against me?
Racer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I'm pretty sure she's asleep because this ran really late. But
yeah, well, she needs to step up her question game. Okay. By the way, we're at 248 now that you mentioned the time. Simulation is confirmed. Chat knows what's up. They probably don't. But they're all simulation anyway, so it doesn't matter.
We only have like 13 Facebook friends, so like.
True. Thank God. Someone tried adding me. Someone I actually like tried adding me this weekend, and I said, please, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said, listen, the only reason we have mutual friends is because I felt too awkward to deny them and couldn't have this conversation in person. Like, I don't know if they felt slighted by it, but I assure you, it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Very fair. We talked a lot of stuff tonight, guys.
Yeah, I know it's fun.
It's like way past Melissa's bedtime.
It's way past your bedtime.
No,
Melissa, she's a child. She goes to sleep at like 8 p.m.
Yeah, but she posts like stupid questions every night at like midnight.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so do you.
No, I post stupid decks at 2 a.m.
That's the fact.
I have to wait for Liz to fall asleep, and then I can start actually researching Disney Lorcana.
Very fair. Very fair. Well, it has been fun. Chat, you guys have been great tonight, per usual. Lots of subject here. I do have to highlight Nate real quick because this was a joke that we were talking about. No, we're not doing that. That tournament did not make the events video that comes out tomorrow, featured by Big Turns and TFM Melissa.
Oh yeah, it got vetoed.
It was never gonna be an option.
I know.
I don't even know what this one is.
Yeah, no, it was like it's like a $25 win a box tournament. It was not good. It was a really bad tournament. But before we get out of here, I will do the right thing. I'll go check out Twitch and our friends over there.
It looks like Breezy's still live with Lorcana After Dark.
Well, we're not rating him.
Breezy did nothing but talk shit. I'm not sending anybody to Breezy.
Watch your mouth.
Breezy gets no love tonight.
We're not rating him because our viewers don't want to be bored to death. That's why we're not rating him. And he's still playing this puppy garbage. Oh my god. I threw that deck.
Puppies are not garbage.
That deck is absolute trash. It is unplayable trash. It has ruined my life for the past 2 weeks. I've tried everything. It's awful.
All right.
Unless you're playing socially, then it's great.
Didn't you get beat by puppies one round of the tournament?
Yeah, it beats one deck, and I was playing that deck. I told Ghostly, I told him if I was not pairing to him, knowing what they were playing, I wouldn't even walked over to the table. Like I'm over there just to hang out with him. Like he Ursula'd me, I play with my hand revealed. Like I'm missing like Oswald triggers. He's like, "Don't you want Oswald?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't win." Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I guess we'll highlight CC real quick. Should be fun. It's Monday night ICL on Twitch.
I'll be there.
At the Wizard. He'll be there. He's streaming it live. It'll be on YouTube over on the ICL channel. It'll be fun. Should be a fun night.
Maybe we'll even get an appearance of Wonder as a cat.
I mean, there's been lots of Wonder Cats. I don't know. Until there's an actual Wonder Wizard Cat, I don't know that I care. I want to see the Wizard Cat. Like, I think that's kind of cool. So, like,
they're talking about the wrong puppy deck in chat.
No, hold on. So, like, hold on. We gotta talk about this real quick. We're at dinner tonight with Scott, and we're talking. I hate Twitch, guys. It ruins my computer. We're not rating anyone right now. And we were talking about the prices of cards, and it really makes me laugh because, like, Tramp is still like a 50-cent rare, guys. Right? Like, it's not even $1 yet. But Perdita is like $1.50 rare. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense.
Collectability. Yes, Churnadogs. Churnadogs is terrible.
No, it's
I don't
not.
care what anyone says. It is unplayable.
Oh, it doesn't make any sense. All right,
if you told me my opponent was Sapphire for 9 rounds, I'd play it. Otherwise, God forbid your opponent is Diablo. I played 3 Tramps and 2 Churnabogs, and they were all banished. But my opponent drew 30 cards.
That sounds painful.
All right. We're going to send our raid off, and then we are going to get out of here. And thank everyone again for hanging out with us tonight. You guys are awesome. And, yeah. Adios. We'll be back later. Lots of streaming in this weekend. Lord 20 Pro streaming the world-class cards. I will likely be sitting in chats while cleaning my house. So that's my plan. But yeah, tomorrow night also ICL. Don't miss that either. I guess there's that too. And then there's Lord 20 Pro. So yeah, lots of thing going on. But yeah, thank you guys for everyone hanging out with us tonight. It was a lot of fun, a lot of chats, and we'll catch you guys next week. I hit it. I hit it too late. It's going. And let me hit the button. It waits too long to hit the button. All right. See you guys, everyone on YouTube. Adios.